Okay, welcome everybody. It is now 2:04 and we are starting the special meeting of the Board of Directors for the Georgetown Divided Public Utility District. If we could have a roll call, please.
1 second. Oh. Director Seaman. Present. Director McDonald.
Present.
Director Stovall.
Present.
Director Fisher.
Present.
Director Saunders.
Present. All right. Have Director Stovall lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes? Seeing none, if there could be a motion.
Motion adoption of agenda as is. A second.
Motion by Director Fisher, seconded by Director McDonald. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Public comments. Okay, for the public, we are going to use the podium. There is a microphone there. This just helps allow it to be recorded also on Teams. Make sure your comments are heard. First, the public comment section will be open. This is for any public comments which are not agendized. The public comments. Online.
I have a comment.
Oh, you can head to the podium.
I just have a question. As far as public comments go, is this the only time, so when the agenda is being spoken about? I'm only interested in the irrigation, whenever that arrives, do I get to make a comment at that time?
Yeah, but you don't be able to make comments on each of them.
Okay.
This is for non-agenda items.
I got it.
Is there a hand raised out there?
Hello,
Yes, go ahead.
can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Mr. Pro, go ahead. Can you hear us? You may not be able to hear us. but
I
we can
can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Well, we are,
We asked any of the other members on Zoom if they can hear us.
uh,
We asked Mr. Dowd.
Mr. Dow, can you hear us?
If he's shaking his head,
Okay, so for the record, Mr. Dowd is indicating he can hear us, so Zoom, the other Zoom participants are able to hear us. Why don't you try again, Director Saunders?
All right, Mr. Pro, can you hear us? You are open for
hear you
public
now.
comments. All
I
right,
can-
go ahead.
I can hear you now.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a issue that needs to be addressed by the district regards to the irrigation and the discharges that they are sending down through Greenwood Creek that have caused me great damage to my property with the overflow amounts that are coming down from the ditch above Chiponia Way and the impacts that it's doing alongside the Greenwood Creek that comes down from your ditch. And I'm getting a great amount of blackberry bushes that are grown up on my property, which I've never had before in 30 years. And I'd like to know who I should talk to in regards to that so that we can hopefully amicably settle this issue.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pro. I will, you will let staff know, and hopefully someone will get back to you within the week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? All right, seeing none. Closing the public comment section. Oh, is there another hand?
I thought sure his hand was up, then it went down.
All right, closing public comments. All right, consent items. Okay, is there a motion to accept the consent calendar?
No,
Okay, go ahead, which item would you like, pulled?
I'd like to pull 4E for clarification. And I don't know how you can see where you're at to be able to see.
Just, when I ask the question, please answer, as opposed to raising your hand, because I can't see you, so if there was any comments, just feel free to chime in. So we'll pull it 4E, any other items?
I. 4G, this is concerned.
Uh,
I'll pull 4G.
Article,
I'm not gonna tell a customer, I'm gonna say a customer's name in public, just so you're aware.
but yeah, we won't be able
I'll
to,
give you a general
we
area.
won't be able to say the specific.
General area, okay, that's good, Matt, thank you.
All right, so we'll pull it 4E and 4G, any other, items?
E and G. Okay.
Okay. Any public comments on the rest of the items? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent calendars, items A, B, C, D, and F? So
Second.
moved by Director McDonald. Second by Director Seaman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, item E.
So item E is, Bennett Engineering is our current engineer for the district. And they've been working on the pipeline project for the USDA grant that we have. And in order for us to get reimbursed their costs, we have to have a dedicated contract with that entity. We cannot use their 3-bid contract to become our district engineer. They just need to have a specific task order that we can work underneath for this project.
Ready?
Okay, Director Seaman.
You want to just have me ask my question?
No, we need staff report then. Director,
So I just wanted to have this clarified that of the amounts that we're getting for the grant versus the amounts that is our cost.
Fully reimbursed.
So we have multiple numbers in the first. The 165 remaining expenditures, then that's gonna come back. Total project total was 404, that's all coming back.
Correct.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just want to make sure this all,
The total grant program was approximately 8.9 million.
yeah,
And this 404 is underneath that, and it's a fully reimbursed grant. There's no match costs.
okay, that's what I wanted to know, thanks.
and just to also further clarify, I believe with our engineering costs, we have, I think it's, what's the percentage we have with each grant that goes towards our engineering cost? Somewhere between 5 and 10%.
Oh, it depends on the project. I would.
We've programmed that in, so it may come back to us as a task order, but we've programmed in our engineering cost into the grants. All right, any other questions on this item?
No, that's all I wanted to have it clarified.
Okay. Any public comment from the public on this item? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve item 4E?
So moved.
Moved by Director Stovall, seconded by Director Seaman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, staff report on item 4E.
District staff met with customers and Slinger Mine Road regarding an irrigation complaint. We determined a solution to the problem. We reached out to the customers. I have directed our staff to go out and fix the problem. We're in the middle of that fix currently. Sure, I don't have much else than that.
Okay. Director Seaman, anything on?
No, I just wanted to. Since we had a concern.
John, thank you. If there's any public comment on it, you can get to the podium, opening up for public comment.
How do we get more specifics about what's being done?
There was an email sent out to the customers,
I didn't get it.
went to the email that's on the account. I could talk to you offline if you want. We
Okay.
have a solution. I know it's.
Well, I think you need to explain what the issue is. There's privacy concerns. Under state law, specific customers have a right to certain privacy, just like we would share your customer account information with the general public. So that's the issue here. We're providing them information as we can. But there are privacy rights that all customers have.
That's understood. I respect that.
Yeah.
I just need some detailed conversation about what the intended outcome is to be.
So I sent an email on the 2nd of June, and I can, if you wanna talk to me, like, when we have a break or something, happy to do that, or I can, if you wanna, while they're talking about something else, I can go meet with you in the corner. I don't wanna put it on the record, I don't think you want that either.
No, I don't want it on the record, but I would just like to know exactly
Absolutely.
why. I did not get an email and as I said before, I need a phone call or a text.
Oh, I didn't have a phone number, so I'll talk to you right now, that's fine,
Okay,
happy to, yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, if we can,
President,
hold on a second, if we could direct staff to make sure we gather phone and text information, so we can send that out to the customers. Director
that's
Seaman?
what I wanted to clarify, is to make sure, excuse me, that you get the contact information to the GM.
Okay,
So there's no more questions on whether you're getting it or not.
And that we could highlight that person does not have it, as we do have customers on this side that don't have emails. Any other public comments on this item? Thank you for those comments. We will make sure that the staff gets back to you. Is there a motion on this item? Or accept this consent item?
Move to approve consent item G.
Second.
Motion by Director Stovall, second by Director McDonald. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed, motion passes.
Can I make a recommendation that people sitting at the table sit back a little bit? So that we can get a little better eye contact with you.
Do you have anybody to find?
Yes, it doesn't matter.
So this is where it's set up, so just make sure that you announce if you have something to say just because of the inside. Okay, next item, item is financial reports. Do we have any questions on the item? No questions from board members, any public comments on the financial reports? None in the room, any online? Okay, no public comments on this item. We'll move to board reports. Director Seaman.
None.
Director McDonald.
None.
Director Stovall.
I spent extensive attention to, I spent extensive attention and time to the development and the different iterations of the strategic plan, and I celebrate the progress that's been made in such a short amount of time.
Just want to thank the public that came out. It's our most faithful folks come out and listen to our meetings. I was joking with somebody the other day that if we put in the flyer that we're gonna raise your rates by 40%, we could pack the room and then just say, just kidding. We just want you here. But I just want to thank our faithful folks that come out both online and in person here for being part of us. Thank you. No more reports.
Thank you. I believe everything from my report is in my board report, and I think I just wanted to make is there any questions on that? The only other comment I have is we are continuing to work with our legislations that are moving forward. And that's about it for me. We do have a lot of priority projects and things that do go through our strategic plan and what is management plans. So we share it with all of the agencies around us, like Mountain County, Fort Way, and Optima. With that, any public comments on the board reports? Seeing none in the room, any online? Okay, operations report. Is Adam online or is someone gonna be filling in for his questions?
Not in the building, I need this.
So no one's filling in unless Alexis can, all right, anybody have any questions? Well, just see.
Yes, I'd like to have added to the operations report, the process of when a, fire department notifies the district about a fire hydrant issue. Hey, boy. That when the fire department comes and contacts us, Chief Hyde, what's the tracking and is there tracking back to the fire hydrant, you know, that it's been fixed or replaced? And we should have an ongoing list of like, there's these many fire hydrants and these many have been checked because that was an issue that we had before, with are we getting these things done and are they ready for fire season? So I'd like that added to the next report.
Well, what we can do is we'll have Adam come back with a discussion on it and then.
Right,
Once we
what I
do
just
that
asked.
discussion, but we will add it to the report, then we can see what exactly we can add to the report, so. Once we have the discussion, then we can determine which GIS data works best for us, so we'll add that to the item, so. I'll keep track of that, we'll send a note to our executive assistant to make sure that Adam is aware of that for the next report. And I'll also add stuff as well, because we also want to see where we are for the public to be able to click on their hydrants. And it should give the GIS data to show you when it was last flushed at the pressure, so we want to tie that all in. So once we bring that back and have the discussion, then we can decide which pieces we want to put on it for the next meeting. So thank you for that, Director Seaman. Any other director questions on that? It looks like something is still spilling, pretty crazy. Any public comments on the operations report? Okay, seeing none. Close public comment, water resources report. Here. Board member questions? Seeing none, no one's come back, public. I'm in the room, any online? Seeing none, back to the board. If not, is there a motion? That is, well, I don't think there's any action, there's no action on that. All right, we will come back to the general manager's report when he is returned. Committee reports, irrigation committee is the chair online,
Christie Johnson.
okay, Christie?
Hi,
Yep, go ahead.
you're already, okay. We were advised at the May 19th meeting of the Irrigation Committee that we did not have substantial updates for most of the agenda items until July or August. So the meeting went really fast. We continued our discussion of ways to increase water sales, including various marketing type materials, a magnet, postcards, that sort of thing. There's nothing really specific to bring to your attention today. We have added a standing agenda item to the Irrigation Committee meetings to allow customers to discuss service issues with the committee. So it's not just a part of public comment at the beginning, that we can actually discuss their service problems with the committee and investigate further, see if things need to be done, so on and so forth. That's to adhere to Brown Act protocols. And our next meeting is not going to be until July 21st, because that's when we might have more substantive information to discuss. That's a nutshell.
Thank you, Christie. That's a good plan there, putting those service issues on the agenda that allows customers to be able to bring that forward. Us gives us a
Yep.
good form for it. We don't have one
Yep.
like that, so that is very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finance committee? Actually, there was no the last committee was actually the joint workshop with the board, so we did have that budget workshop, so that was the last thing we did as the finance committee. And all right, any board comments and questions, Director Seaman?
We had asked, the board has asked that committee to give us updates at the next, whatever the next meeting is. In writing so that we could see, like when we're talking about the budget or the city changes, that would be brought to our attention. So as we come through this budget, that we would see this stuff up front and don't have to ask questions about the same item again. So I would urge that we do that. We put it in place once, let's put it in place again. That request.
We'll just make sure that the reports, either written or verbal, does have the updates, so we will make sure that's put through, especially when it comes to the budget, where we can highlight probably a formal report for the budget, probably works better, that has those items, right?
Where we can see the ones that are lined out or not lined out or, see the actual movements of the numbers and correction.
Yeah, so this will also help.
Yeah.
The board see the budget things that the finance committee highlighted, so if we do have those questions, doesn't have the redundancy. Thank you. All right, any other board comments or questions? Public comments or questions from the committees? None in the room and none online, we'll go to the general manager's report.
I'll just give three real brief updates. The district and myself were featured in a Municipal Leaders Magazine. You can check out the article we wrote about the fire and kind of recovering from the fire. We received a grant from the urban for the urban water management plan from El Dorado Water Agency. It will pay up to $20,000 for 50% of our urban water management plan costs. That includes staff time, consultant time, legal costs. So we'll be putting together a package to get reimbursed for that urban water management plan that we'll be hearing about today. And then you'll see a picture in my report. Director Saunders and myself both participated in the Mountain Counties Water Resource Association legislative days and May 20th, I think. That's it.
Any more questions?
Yes, please.
Director Stover.
As I've repeated in the past, I would really appreciate an explanation of the use of acronyms, both for myself and for the public.
Army Corps of Engineers.
Well, there's a whole bunch of them in there, so
Which other was that?
anything that's in there, I think, for the public, acronyms. it's-
Sorry.
haven't-
Yeah, Army Corps of Engineers, I know that was one of the ones, because I met with them a few times. CMUA is California Municipal Utilities Association, a regional water association, El Dorado Water Agency. Those are all just different organizations we belong to. I'll work on typing them out.
Yeah, thank you, at least the first one.
And with VA.
Oh, the voluntary agreements. So we still call it the voluntary agreements, but it's now referred to as the Healthy Rivers and Landscapes, or HRL. So
Which is HR, I was gonna say, yes, so we'll make sure we
We got
put
this down.
those acronyms in parentheses.
I will work on that.
That's for all of us, that's everybody's money, if they do it for water or law or medicine, so just gotta lay personalize everything. Okay, thank you. This brings us to our action items, legislative update. The only action I have is for us to support a resolution to Aqua's vision for a water future policy initiative. I did bring this forward in April and I presented it to the public, and any questions or comments from the board? Director Stover.
I felt that it was a very excellent vision document. Very wordsmith. Concise, visual, I'm really impressed with that.
Director Fisher.
How many members are there in Aqua? I know I heard at the conference, 450.
478, I believe, so we have 478 members, includes about 19 cities, I believe. And then we do have associate members, so about 478 water agencies.
So I think the power of that document with that many agencies together, putting forward a vision from people who are in the business, who know water inside and out. I think even the governor's office, the legislature really likes to see something like that rather than policy made in back rooms by folks that don't know nearly as much. So I think it's a very good and a powerful policy document from people who know water inside and out.
To the Director Fisher. Any comments from board members? Seeing none, any public comments? None from the room, any online? Bringing it back, with that, is there a motion to support the vision policy initiative?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Director Stovall, seconded by Director Fisher. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. Thank you, and we will let Aqua know that that resolution passes, and maybe I can get a little sticker for all of our board members that you have. All right, this brings us to the next item. Discuss the remaining board of directors meeting dates and consider with us adjusting the meeting times. There's a staff on this.
We received a director request to address the timing. I believe it's not the dates that are in question, but the time of the meeting. So I'll turn it over to the director who requested, Director Seaman, to discuss what time she'd like to adjust to so we can discuss it.
I would like to see it later. I know we have discussed, moving it. But it's 4.5 years, we haven't moved it to accommodate any later at night. And also, when I was looking at the strategic plan, one of the comments back was having evening meetings, not day meetings, so that other people can attend. So I had asked for at least 4 o'clock, but I see it got put down as 3.
We can, whatever time you suggest. I think with what I heard was 3, and I may be wrong in what I heard. So I apologize for that.
Well, like I said, after reviewing what the strategic plan comments were, I'm almost to the point of saying, should we try and see an evening if we get more people showing up?
Seeing that we have very few people ever show up even with meetings like this, I think the one thing we should start doing is maybe having some meetings that we switch around with the vibe, so at least we have one meeting will be at the evening, maybe one at the Grange, one at Georgetown, one at Garden Valley. I think that would be better use of our meetings than switching to full time probably at this time.
That will work.
Director Donald?
Yeah, I second Director Seaman recommended former Director Thornborough and I ran several years ago. We said, well, we really wanted to consider having meetings alternating locations. So we have a few people here today that didn't come because it wasn't in Georgetown, but we did have a few that were here because it's here and not in Georgetown. And as much as we pound the pavement and get out the word and go all out for meetings such as this, today, the strategic planning session or about the water sales, and if the board's doing their job, there's not a lot of, there isn't, assuming we're doing our job, there's not a lot of people coming to complain. So I would say that at the very least, we should yield to the needs of the board member who still has working obligations during the regular work hours. So that's what I'm thinking. So I don't think we'll get any more in the evenings. On a survey, they might say that would be nice because I could make it then, but probably wouldn't. That's my opinion. So that's my 2 cents.
Director Fisher?
Just still listening.
Director Stovall?
I'm neutral on the issue.
So I like 4 o'clock. If we do see more people start showing up at 5 or 6, we can extend it. If not, I would like to go. It's good during the summer months. During the winter months, it's nice to come back from there for the drive for not only us, but for staff too. That's one of the things to consider, but moving it to 4 at this point in time, I'm agreeable to. Because if there's any other time that you would like to consider,
I can live with 4. If I have to, but I may also be calling in more often.
so we'll start with 4, and if there is challenges, we can always bring this item back to make sure we're accommodating, so.
Are Wednesdays still the preferred day for everyone?
I look for Mondays. Then I don't care what time you want, I wanna have it.
Actually, work better in general.
Then you also have to talk to our attorney and see if he can make it.
Yeah.
No, Wednesday if he could make it, but
I think the issue we were having with Monday was getting the information from staff to us on time, so that means that.
That hasn't
have to
happened.
go out Thursday as opposed to Friday, so.
but we're not getting that. So at least if they get it to us by Friday, they don't have an opportunity to get it to us any later. Friday would be the drop dead date for everything coming to us.
Well, technically it's, unless they wanna publish the agenda on the weekend, which I don't think has ever happened since I've been here. They have to publish on Friday because Monday would be too late for Wednesday. So you are publishing on Friday now, right?
I think she's referring to the
Right,
board
but we're
agenda.
getting-
Oh, the late,
Flagging it.
the later arriving.
Yeah, it just keeps coming in every day, we get something new, and it's, some of us don't sit there and have nothing else to do than sit and read these lovely documents and go over them to be able to come across with information, to benefit our ratepayers. So I'm a little not so, what do I say, amiable to changing, change it to Monday and whatever cat lands on Friday is Friday, if we get it Monday and that's what it's gonna be. Then I have at least 2 days to read it and be upset.
Director Stovall?
I prefer to stay with Wednesday.
I also believe legal counsel does not have availability on Monday.
Yeah, Mondays are, Mondays would be. Potentially the first Monday would be the only time, but it would have to be earlier in the day. So yeah, Mondays aren't very good.
I'd like to keep legal here. Monday's not the best option at this point in time. I remember at the end of the year, we do have the projection for next year, so we can find out from our legal counsel what protection Mondays look like, so we can consider that. Any other suggestions? So it looks like at this point, the meetings will be Wednesday at 4 p.m. Let me get my note to. But Mondays for the 2027 year. Any public comments, since the public attends these meetings, on the times? Alan, you can use the podium, so we can, I know it's hard, but we wanna make sure it's recorded.
Is there any way to know how many people are listening to the recordings online after the meetings?
We can give it does tell you how many views you have on the YouTube, but it's not many. It's not, probably in the low double digits, 10 to 20. But I would have to go look.
I listen to them that way, then when I listen to it live, the sound is horrible. It's all muffled and you just don't want to listen anymore and just give up. As far as moving from place to place, Right now especially, gas is costing more. I'm sure that's affecting how far people wanna drive. So that might influence what you do in that realm.
You, any other public comments? That's right.
I just know the two things. I do think later in the day it's probably better for people who are working. You know, for me personally, later in the day can cause problems on Wednesdays for whatever reasons, but. Even those of us who are not actually working with paid jobs have a lot of obligations during the day. So, you know, pushing it later in the evening. Also, I would say that different locations probably will work better for a lot of people. I think it is a bit of a drive. You know, like we came all the way here from Georgetown today. Of course, we're up country, so it's a drive no matter where we go. So, for other people, it may be, it would be more convenient to have different locations. But I also would say that there is something to be said for consistency, because people do get confused. We ourselves all got confused this winter when we had snow days and things got totally messed up. So I think that that should be kept in mind, but certainly pushing into the evening, we have the opportunity for people who have obligations to.
That's right.
I just want to make a note about switching the location. Under the Brown Act, we have to designate one place for our regular meetings, not two places. So if we are going to switch regularly, we just need to be thoughtful and plan ahead. Because there are certain items of business you can only do at a regular meeting. And so I just want the board to keep that in mind. It's not that we can't do it, we just have to be forward planning when we do that.
Yeah, my thought was, well, I'll have to look to public comments. With my thoughts. Any other public in the room? I see them still online. Okay, none in the room. We'll go on.
Can I just address one of the comments? You asked about the largest viewed video is 68 views. The most of them are less than 10 views though. I would say 90% of them are between 10 and 20 views. And there's a couple that are, you know, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Okay, online, who's that raised? Sherry, okay, Sherry, go ahead.
Okay, I think the consistency is a part of it, but also what about overtime for the staff? And then if you travel, there's more gas and everything for them to do it. Changing the time. The Mountain or the Gazette still has the second Tuesday as the meeting in their file, and that hasn't been active for like 2 years. If you look in the Town Crier, they have a lot of news stuff. They still have the second Tuesday. I don't think it's going to make a difference. If people wanted to come, they would come. 4 o'clock, I don't think it's going to make a difference besides 2 o'clock. But I think you should stay in the same area. And then maybe once a year or something, go to Cool or whatever. That's it.
Thank you, Sherry. Any other online? Okay, closing the public comments. And the thing that I was gonna ask you, we did kind of cover is, like if we move from place to place, maybe it would be like a summer meeting. So one summer meeting we decided would be in the evening in Pool, the next year maybe Georgetown. So it might not be all the time, as we said. Consistency is really important. Someone knows when the meeting is, you know, you're showing up on a Wednesday at this time, you go to Main Street. If it's not there, that's also problematic too. So we want it to be have some consistency as well.
And always address, there is no overtime charges. All of our employees are salaried.
Director Bob?
Yeah, pretty much in agreement with Sheree. I don't think we'll change the attendance figures one way or the other. And keeping track and of where the meeting is and how it's reported, where it's reported. Just on the agenda today, it says special meeting here at this location, but in the notice it said it would be held in the regular boardroom in Georgetown. So, and you got to keep track of more things that way. So once a year sounds like a good idea, perhaps. To have it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also did put a note of making sure we changed the Gazette Crier information, and I'll check with the Democrat. The issue there is the person that used to cover us no longer does, so we no longer have coverage for G9. Was the director comments? Director Fisher?
Yeah, just queuing on Cherie's comment about predictability, I think if we did set a kind of a tradition. Say we did have one meeting in Cool, that people came to expect, one in Garden Valley, say if we wanted to do that. And the rest of them were, and there's one in the fall, one in the summer, something like that, just kind of set a tradition and try to stick with it over time. Would be helpful to people, and then that's published year long, people can see a way out of it.
Thank you.
Steve.
So we have a hand up out there. Alright, we will
You have one up there.
we'll go with the hands that are up there, okay? Mr. Pro next.
Yes, I'd make a suggestion,
We can barely hear you, Mr. Pro.
trying to find your agendas online are difficult, to put it mildly, at least for me. I know I'm getting old, but I don't think I'm that old. I spent quite a bit of time trying to locate your agendas, and each time it's a different type of grief that I have to go through to get your agendas. Even when I can bring it up, sometimes they print, sometimes they don't print. I do a like June 10th, 2026 agenda, and it sends me into Never Never Land. There should be an easier way for the public to be able to access your menus without having to go through all kinds of hoops and still end up with nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Pro. It's like, is Mr. Dow's hand up?
No, that's later
Lena?
Still muted?
Got it. Hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
What exactly is the reason or reasons behind moving the meeting to different locations? Is it for public outreach, or is there another reason?
That would be for public outreach.
Okay. And then the other thing is, if this is going to be moved, the sound is so awful on this and garbled that there needs to be more attention paid to the technology that happens when you do move to a different place, specifically video and sound. And also the camera's not tracking properly, like when the two gentlemen were speaking in the back corner or wherever they were, the camera kept moving to them or moving to Taylor and her conversation. So you're not seeing the person who's actually speaking. So there just needs to be a little bit more attention to the technology side. That's it.
Okay. I'm more public, attaching the podium so we can hear the recording.
I just know this from experience, it's because the microphones are moving around all the time. It makes the garble, but with Zoom. If it's stationary, it won't do that.
So I think that needs to be something that we need to have staff look into, how to get that corrected, so that there's a clear recording that's taking place and not just a recording. So I would suggest
We can
either,
bring that up later, that's not an agendized item. We will-
right, but I'm
We
just
can, I
saying,
do have a note for that, and
yes.
we will send that to staff, and also remember that AV is an adjunct, so we want to try to make it as good as possible. With that, is there a motion on the floor for this item? Closing public comment.
I make a motion that we move it to 4 o'clock.
Motion is to move the regular meeting to 4 P.M. and we'll stay at the same time, please.
A second.
Seconded by Director McDonald. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed, the motion passes, then we will make sure to update everybody on the time. Okay,
Let's approve it then.
this will be through December, yes, then we do the next year in January, at the end of the December meeting. Okay.
Stay or Wednesday.
Wednesday, so the dates stay the same, the time will just be from 2, it will be 4 o'clock. Okay, item 13. review the director stipend as required by district policy 4030-2. Staff, update on this item?
This is a yearly update that we do for policy. There are three options for the board to consider. Current option that there's under right now is a $400 a month stipend if you attend the board meeting. The second option is you can attend up to 10 meetings per month. And that would be $100 per meeting, a maximum expenditure of $1,000 a month per board member. The third option is a much more difficult process. It would be converting us from the public utility code to the water code. And that if that were to go through, it would change our ordinance. And we could do a 5% increase every year moving forward, starting at $400. That if item 3 was selected, we would have to come back at a later time to have that public hearing and agendized. Under the public utility code, options 1 or 2 can be selected today.
Any director comments? Hand, Director Sim?
No, you didn't say it, Ann.
Alright, so loop back there, I was like, all right, don't listen. And the other issue also is it is compensation, and there is the ability to bring back eye vision dental if that is a benefit that the board members want to do. There is a cap to it, but it is part of our JPIA, so those are the other options. That's part of compensation. Director Brown?
What year was that? That it was
2013, I believe.
2013. So. In 2013, had we had the 5% annualized increase.
Oh, no, that never was a thing.
Was that?
That never was a thing, so I mean. That 5%, I guess the earliest you would consider it would have been the time we would go on the board, so it wouldn't have started until 2020 would have been the earliest. I would think it would have been a possibility.
That wasn't an option back in 2013.
It was an option there, but no one brought it up, so the earliest it would have probably been discussed would have been our board, which would be 2020.
5% a year in 14 years, it'd be around $800 now. But the board used to have benefits, what did you call them?
They used to get vision, dental, and vision and dental, I guess, you know. It's the options would be like that's gives us a cost of living increase basically. Director Stonewall?
As I recall, this public law that limited compensation to $400 was, I believe, established in 2011 and hasn't changed since then.
I think it's long before that.
Okay.
Yeah, the original, that's probably the last time it was updated, but this was originally established, I believe, in the 70s or the 80s when this piece said the last time has been discussed.
So given that this year is inflation be over 4%. One perspective is that the livable or the monetary value of the $400 is going down every year. Could you explain again what is difficult about the third option?
Oh, it's just an additional process that we have to go back and update the ordinance and move away from the public utility code and move into the water code. It would change some things about the water district and I'd have to do a little bit more research on what it actually means. And I would confer with our legal counsel to ensure that everything was done correctly. It just would come back probably in a 2-month time frame to figure all those pieces out.
Would a critical issue be that being a public utility district gives us the option to generate electricity?
I
As a
believe
water district, we may not have that option.
it is a potential, but again, I'd have to do additional research. Water code and public utility code are not something that I've really read into that deeply to understand that, so I have to do some research on it.
Thank you.
Director Brown?
every year. Or as I can remember, we talked about this third option, that it's like we have to jump through some hoops. Regardless of what we decided today, could we start the hoop jumping, so next year it doesn't have to be a hoop to jump, we could just do it?
I do have direction to go through it, to look into it, so I'd be happy to, bring it back at a later time if I'm given that direction.
So, because every year, like Director Stoll was building on, every 14 years at 5%, it basically doubles, so. And when we cut, when the previous board decided to cut the, compensation for medical and dental vision, equivalent compensation back then now would be over $2,500 a month. So if we had adopted that 5% annualized increase, at least there would be like $1,000 a month. So every 14 years it doubles. So not even talking about going back in the 80s. So, and that would be more in line with a lot of the other utility districts, or go to Aqua Conference. You know what I'm saying? People get compensated quite a bit. That doesn't mean we deserve it or should get it, but we should at least have that option, so staff could look into that 5% increase, at least to get the ball rolling. Because, like, just to give an example, if somebody may consider $800, their family situation may think that, well, for $800, honey, yeah, why not? Go ahead. We'll take a weekend off every month to make up for your time. But we're at 400 now. It's the same as 400 then is the same as $200 now. And they might say that's not worth it. So we may not be getting qualified people stepping up to the plate as the years goes on cumulatively. So it all adds up. So that's all.
Director Seaman?
I caution that term of qualified people because there are no qualifications to be in the position, as we know. That's a hard one to look at and justify. And I personally did get on the board, figuring that $400 was, I was gonna make a new career move and become a lifetime politician. I came on to get a couple things done, and in 4.5 years, I've gotten two things I want to get done, got done. And so, I don't know, I have reasons to be here, and I have, reasons to not be here, but I think that's what each person needs to determine in their mind. Because clearly $400 or $800 isn't gonna cause one thing to one way or
Any other director comments?
Just in conclusion, I am more concerned about the benefits of remaining a public utility district.
Thank you. Moving it up to public comments from in the room. Go ahead.
I don't know how to phrase this, but what would be the benefit of one over the other as far as a water district versus a?
That's what we'll have to bring back.
Okay, so you can't answer it.
Right.
There are certain things that you can do. We get certain benefits under the Public Utility Code of things we can do that are nice, that help us. I don't know if it changes if we move over to the water code. It might just change this compensation board, and it's a little bit outside of where my comfort zone.
Yeah, I would say that public utilities being public utilities like electricity, that is necessary. Water district, I don't think.
didn't Frank go over this last year? And we went through this whole.
Public comments, we'll come back to you. Let's finish public comments first.
That was all. I would like to know too.
Any anyone else in the room for public comments?
So we need to be on the microphone when public comments be made.
Yeah, well, make sure you go to a podium, because the same as you point stand up about it, not hearing it, you're not going to give this pen. Any on the public on Zoom for comments? All right. Okay, Shirley, go ahead.
Okay, so the choice is raising it, not raising it, or raising it to $420 or doing $100 per event.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I could see you guys should have started this as a public service. I could see possibly doing the increase on the 420, but definitely not the $100 per event. I wouldn't go for that one. Thanks.
Any other comments? Seeing none, those are public comments. I don't know if there was any other thing, but the difference, if we didn't have that now, that's one of the directions we will be giving
Oh, we're gonna have legal counsel to bring something back at the next meeting.
yeah, because we do have hydro, it doesn't affect our flow, doesn't affect the ability to give back energy, options for the internet, so other things other than just director compensation. Director Singham?
Like I tried to say to Laura, I believe Frank already answered this a year ago. When we went down that path, and he was. I don't remember the exact comments, that he made, but it was gonna be very difficult to go from one to the other.
You know, this time.
Am I putting things in your mouth, Frank?
We'll get an official report back, since this isn't agendized really, and I don't think he has an report.
Yeah, I think, let me look at it, and part of looking at it will be. Yeah, let me look at it. I think bringing it back next month, to provide a verbal report would probably be the best way. And then if the board wants to give direction, then we can certainly do that.
We have time to continue with the next one. You can just select what you have now, and we can make the selection at any time.
Yeah, so you can make a motion to adopt with the current protocol with the direction for staff to come back on. A report on what options would be available and if that, how difficult that would be.
I make a motion that we keep the current stipend and that we will we're directing staff, the attorney to come back and give us a report next month. And we'll go over this again.
I have a question, is the medical on the table too? Go ahead.
Compensation is possible if people are interested in adding that in. Remember, that's an option, so not everybody has to opt into it, but it's an option that is provided for health insurance.
Great. Great suggesting adding that to the wasn't part of yours, but
So that means I would have to rescind my motion.
With discussion, if it's something the board wants to have as part of the compensation.
It can be just included in the information that they're gathering.
We can add that as well.
We can use with the dental, and yeah, we can bring all that back.
Right, so if you could amend your motion to have for maintaining the current director of reimbursement compensation, and we will bring back review and update for going from PUD to the water code and medical compensations. So we would be.
Thank you.
Is there a second? Second by, I don't know which one got it first. We'll do it to the right, so. Moved by Director Siemens, second by Director McDonald. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, that provides direction to staff. Thank you. Next item is review the fiscal year 2026-27 operating budget, the GAD limit and capital improvements that we planned.
So we did an extensive review at the last board meeting / workshop of the finance committee and board. We haven't changed anything since that date. We did add, we changed the election costs to reflect what the election office gave to us
went from about 9,500 to 18,000. Unfortunately, that's a cost we don't have any control over. And I did add the costs for the potential to join the water forum, which I had been waiting on those numbers from the executive director. That would then still require us to come back and get board approval. I just included those numbers so that they're there inside the budget. We are not joining the water forum unless the board approves it. But I will bring that back at a later date. I did want to include those numbers, which was about $50,000 to join the water forum. The reason we would potentially consider joining the water forum is to help us with the building of the reservoir that we're looking at right now. I can answer any questions about that, or if we wanna, if there's any questions about the budget, I'm happy to answer any questions. We could give a short presentation, but again, we did have that extensive presentation at the last joint workshop.
Director Fisher?
Any chance that participation in the water forum could be covered in a grant, or no grant scope? Too much of an ongoing.
It's not
thing.
So
it's
the program within RWA, and what we can do is if we were considering this, we can have the executive director come and present the water forum to us.
Yeah, it's further down the line. This is just to make sure that we're including all costs, all potential costs. What the water forum does, it would give us and I hate to use it this way, but environmental cover to impound more water. We would have some sort of restrictions and we could develop those carve outs for impounding additional water with other water agencies and the environmental groups in a organized manner, as opposed to having everyone come at us from a million different directions. We could direct them all to come at us to address us directly.
Also, the Healthy Rivers and Landscapes, WR has carved out money return, which goes to the water forum, or they could put out, so that would be some of the cost sharing that we'd be able to share in as well. And they do develop the American River Conservation Action Plan, and that would give us more of a voice on how water use and conserved throughout the Sacramento regional basin. Any other questions from the board before going to the public? Director Seaman?
And assuming I didn't look again, that this does not include, any water transfer money.
No. The water transfer, we have not determined where that money is going to be spent yet. That will come back at a later date.
Right.
Any other board questions or comments? Any from the public? So not in the room, go online, Sheree.
Where is the charts after each department that breaks down the accounts? I asked that a couple months ago and said it was going to be included, and it's not.
They were included in the presentation that was given at the joint meeting. We don't typically include those in the budget book, but we do include those in the presentation at the May meeting.
Okay, well, I was driving when that was happening, so I didn't get to look at it. So that's why I didn't answer any questions. All right, I'll go back and look at that.
Maybe we'll put some of those on the website that shows the.
It's on the website.
Okay. Any other public comments, Sheree? Any others from public comments? Okay, close the public comments. The only comment that I would add is just to make sure we us and the public are aware of the caps that the board has put in on the rate-based part of CIP. So you will only do up to a certain point of rates every year, and then after that, you have to fill the rest with grants or loans or revenue. So we put a cap on what we have to do as a community to keep our rates from going sky high. So if there's a $50 million project, we're only on the hook for, I believe we do 800,000 a year CRP. So it does force us to continue to go for grants and stuff and to make sure we're not putting a big, problem with our affordability as we're trying to do our projects for the future. I mean, we have to do it, but we also have to be able to pay for all that we do. So that's the challenges we have, and we gotta try to find investments to help us, because we're a small rate base. So, any of the director comments, questions? And with that, is there any motion?
I move we accept the proposed budget for fiscal year 26, 27.
His second.
I believe we, and also approve capital improvement plan and the gallons.
It's all included, I believe, in the resolution.
So just add that all to the, it's all in the resolution, so we will approve the resolution as is, which includes those three items. Okay, for a second,
I second.
motion by Director Stovall, seconded by Director McDonald. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you all, and thank you for those that did participate in my joint budget workshops and all our budget stuff throughout the year, and thanks to the finance committee who was public face and community transparency, so make sure you show up to those meetings as well, because that provides another good input point that they get to go into more detail that we can't here. And this is the most important thing I think we do as a board is the budget every year. This is determines our rates and it determines the sustainability for the future of the district. All right, next item, moving along. This brings us to the public hearing of the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and Water Shortage Contingency Plan discussion and provincial adoption. So once I open the public hearing and kind of, we'll have staff comments and then it'll go through public comments until we're done. And then we will bring it back to the board for discussion and closure. So it is now 3:11, and I will open the public hearing on the urban water management plan. Starting with staff report.
Yeah, we have we held a town hall meeting in March to discuss some of the major points of the urban water management plan. You have what we consider a draft final of the plan. I'm more than willing to take any questions. I do have our water consultant, Robert Heather, on the Zoom, if there's any questions that I can't answer. But I would just open it up to any board questions after the review. And this document is, we like to call it a living document. Not everybody treats it that way, because a lot of people take their urban water management plan and they just stick it on the shelf and don't ever look at it again. That's not the way we want to look at this. This is a look at our water for the next 25 years, 20 to 25 years of how much water we have for the district. Takes into account all the different water types and water years that we have. We look at 5 years of drought. We look at 2 years of drought, and we look at 1 year of drought. And we look at the lowest water years of those different mixes for how the district should be managed underneath those situations. There is a section in here called the Water Shortage Contingency Plan, WSCP. You may have heard of this in the past when there was some droughts, California droughts. This has various stages that we can go into to alleviate water shortage years, water efficiency. When we assess Stumpy Meadows in April, we will then make a determination of what stage we're in. And if at any point we hit certain levels of Stumpy Meadows, we can institute voluntary or potentially mandatory conservation levels. We do start with treated water conservation, and then stage 3 does introduce raw water conservation. Stage 4 and stage 5 would be pretty catastrophic
If we were in stage 4 and stage 5, I believe that everyone here would know about it. It's something that I don't believe the district's ever been in, but it would be constant communication from both the board, the staff, going towards the customers. And that is when you'd have the most serious mandatory conservation levels. I'm not going to tell you what methods we're going to use because I don't know what the method would be used to get to those conservation levels today. It would be a decision that the board would come up with. We would make a recommendation as staff on what to cut and how to cut it. And then they would make the final decision. So those are, again, extreme measures, and we're not there today. So I would like to invite the public back, if we do get to those extreme measures, to make comments at that time. I would be open to taking any questions on the document. Again, I have our water consultant, Robert Heather, who can get into some of the more needed technical aspects of this. And I will just make a note that we have received some public comments regarding CEQA and other regulatory documentation, and we have, as a district, followed all applicable laws according to the Urban Water Management Act. We have, this is not a CEQA document. This is a regulatory document that would speak to potential future CEQA project parameters. What the Urban Water Management Plan is a planning document. This is not selling anything. This is not approving any projects. This is talking about how our water is managed throughout the district for the next 5 years.
With that, we'll open it up to public comments. Any members of the public want to weigh in on our Urban Water Management Plan and water shortage contingency plan from the room? See, it's public hearing. All right, then I will bring it to Mr. Cherie, Councilor Hendrick. Cherie.
Yes, can we have like what is different in the update in the new plan versus the other, kind of a crib sheet of that while he's talking?
I'll turn it over to Robert.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the question and the recommendation. And so I just want to reiterate and kind of build off of what Nick said. This is a regulatory document, and in the water code, it requires specific reporting elements. For example, it requires the customer demands over the past 5 years. So in this version, we're reporting, customer deliveries that occurred through the period 21 through 25. And similarly with supply utilization as well. So, the major things that have changed throughout the iteration would be the formatting. Of course, the formatting of this version compared to the 2020 is slightly different. But all the required information is embedded in here. And really the only major changes would be kind of looking at those timeframes in which we're reporting. I am also happy to report back to the public and the board as well that there was no substantial changes to the referenced water shortage contingency plan. So what was contemplated in 2020, we went and looked at it again. We felt that it was, no real need at this point to make major revisions to that. And then on a hydraulic and water resource engineering front, in looking at the inflows into the reservoir over a historical period, I don't see very many instances in which the water shortage contingency plan would be enacted to a degree that would require substantial reductions in customer deliveries. It's just the fact of the Pilot Creek watershed, Stumpy Meadows. I think I heard earlier it's spilling now. So that's just a great testament of how much water is available to the district. And in addition to that, the growth, the demand growth associated with the district over the planning horizon is such that the Stumpy Meadows Reservoir was correctly sized and provides sufficient supply under normal and as well as under multiple year drought scenarios, with the exception of when we modeled a severe drought. And when I say severe, I mean one that we haven't seen on the historical record. When we model that drought 5 years in a row, that's when we're starting to look at some serious cuts regarding customer deliveries. But that is just a hypothetical modeling situation that was required by the water code. And so that is incorporated in Chapter 5. So to be more direct, Sherry, we could put something together like that. And I'll just tell you now that there's really nothing new in there in terms of outside of what's already required by the water code. So I hope that addresses your question. And if not, then we can move forward to get you in a comfortable space.
Well, so it's just basically updating drought and things like that. It's nothing like major changes. Like
There's
you,
no policy in here.
okay. You don't forecast like, we're in an area that doesn't have sewers. If sewers were to come in, a lot more water would be used.
We do not,
That
that is not something we can look at. We only look at what is here and what we have access to. If that were to be taken into some future iteration, then that would become something we look at in the future. I will just add one thing to what Robert stated. We didn't change the water shortage contingency plan on the amounts that we're conserving. However, we did look very closely at where we are looking at to conserve those amounts. I know in September of 22, when right before the fire occurred, we were underneath some fairly severe water shortage, and it was considered to cut the raw water a month early. And the board decided that they didn't want to cut the water as much as they did, so they turned the water back on. Kind of a long story in there. What we're looking at now is stage 1 and stage 2. Those are only pertaining to treated water customers, and you can read in there. You have voluntary and 10% reduction under stage 1. Under stage 2, it's mandatory of treated customers. Getting into stage 3 is where we start to look at 20% for treated water customers and 10% for raw water customers. Stage 4 is 40% for treated customers and 25% for raw customers. And then stage 5, which like I said, if you're in stage 5, hold on to your hats because the state's going to be on our back door all the time. But that would be mandatory by both treated and irrigation customers of 50% reduction. Beyond a drought, and I know that Robert mentioned under a 5-year drought is when you have these scenarios. I would say this district will use these shortage contingency plans if there's some sort of catastrophic emergency in the area. Highly unlikely, and we look at all the records for the last over 100 years of data throughout Pilot Creek, we would never make it to level 4. However, if we did have some sort of catastrophic emergency with the reservoir, that is when we would enact stage 4 or 5. And what I mean by catastrophic emergency is something happened, seismic event or other event where we had to reduce the water level in the reservoir and we could only serve so much water. That would be somewhere a regulatory office came and said, unfortunately, your dam is not safe. You need to operate at this level. That's when we would enact stage 4s and stage 5s. We are not there. God willing, we will never be there. We are in a good spot right now, but those are when you would enact those in this district. Now, I'm not saying that there is some mega drought coming where this could be enacted, but there hasn't been one in the past 100 years. So I hope that answers your question, Cherie, and if it doesn't, I'm happy to take any more questions from you.
That wasn't the question I asked, but anyway.
That's what's different.
Thank you. And I think the other thing to clarify was any significant changes from the draft we had last month to this month as well.
No.
Now they're saying no, just the format. Okay, thank you. There's another hand raised. I can't read who it is.
Speak down.
Mr. Dow?
Or Pro, excuse me, Mr. Pro.
No, Mr. Pro?
If my concerns are, the document that was placed up on the web was 607 pages. And the amount of time given for the public, I've sent this to you in writing, to review this document and try to make any sense out of it, and then to find out that the board is virtually delegating all of its authority to one person to do with what he wants, when he wants, how he wants, with no virtual oversight. If there's something I didn't read in the document, then I apologize. But what I find is that when I read something and there's so many things that are in the document that need revision, instead of doing something, in my opinion, that was done in a rush job, an inadequate job, and something that is contradictory, I take exception to it. When you say it's not a CEQA document, you don't mention anything about the Clean Water Act. You don't mention anything about the requirements needed by the Regional Water Quality Control Board or the State Board. I don't know which one it is because I couldn't find any documents from them. I've made requests to you as far as the board to provide me with all documentation regards to correspondence with the State Water Board on this issue, and also all the documents that are pertaining to the El Dorado Conduit Project, just for enlightenment and to make clarification of we're talking about from the Stumpy Meadows Dam project, when it was changed from the old way of sending water down to sending it down to Pilot Creek, that whole project that I believe started in the 50s, 1950s. So once I get that information, I'll know more. But when you say it's not a CEQA document, and then I read through the documents, and you're relying upon the county, our wonderful county that doesn't like environmental at all, to be the ones that are going to be doing the mitigation and study on it, I take great offense that you think somebody's not going to read the document. Well, some of us do read the document, and some of us do understand what it says. So you've got big problems in the document itself that need to be addressed. And that's why I made the comments that I made. And I do not like to be deceived. That's my opinion. I have been deceived by reading this document. On one page it says no. On the other page it says yes. And I don't think it's the responsibility of this board to give all of their power to a general manager that, in my opinion, has not done well for this district. I'm sure some in the district have done well, but I'm sure that there's others that haven't, and that's usually the ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pearl. I will move this over to our lawyer to.
I just want to address one of the comments that was in there. This document gives no authority to anybody to make any decisions. Anything that has to come back to this board will come back to this board. There is no delegation. There is no ability for me to make any decisions based on this document.
Have you read the document?
Yes, multiple times.
You have a lawyer talk about the CEQA issues?
Sure, Mr. Pro, have you read Water Code Section 10-10652? Are you familiar with it?
I am not.
Okay.
Finished.
You read it's the urban water management plans are statutorily exempt under CEQA. So I just want to provide that information for you. Hopefully that clarifies things for you. Thank you.
So you're not going to answer my questions. That's fine. I'll do it my way.
Right, thank you, Mr. Hall.
If you guys don't want to correct this document, that's fine with me. Because you make my day when you do stuff like that.
Mr. Pro, I provide an explanation. I can't force you to understand what I just said. But it's Water Code Section 10652, which makes it statutorily exempt under CEQA.
CEQA is not NEPA.
We'll still finish the public hearing unless it's going to be in regards to clarifying that issue, Director Stevens.
No, I didn't want to.
Yeah, they have to finish the public first.
That's what I'm waiting for.
So, any other public comments, questions? Okay, seeing none online and none in the room. At this point, I will close the public hearing. It is now 3:28, and we will close the public hearing of the urban water management plan. Now we'll open it up to the board. One thing I'll make to help provide some clarifications is the urban water management plan contains in it the water shortage contingency plan. And that is kind of the guiding framework for if there is anything that goes out of our normal year, when we do as a board declare whether it's a normal water year or not. If it's not a normal water year, that triggers the water shortage contingency plan, which we would then bring back every month or as needed to update and guide what the board will do. So that's something that the board is in full control of. And as you can see what happened last time, sometimes we may have to make decisions that overrides the state for our health and safety. So that's the board has the responsibility for that. Director Seaman?
Oh, okay. One, I did ask the contractor, to give us a critical level of stumping, in this report, and I don't remember seeing that anywhere in here.
So I think, you're talking about the level that we cannot provide any water at.
Or
1,300
he
acre
was
feet.
supposed to give me a number.
It's 1,300 acre feet. He wouldn't have the number, we would have the number. That's Deadpool number, it's 1,300 acre feet.
Okay.
Would you like to, is that something we want to add to the report? I'll ask that to our consultant.
Can you repeat the ask again, Director Saunders?
If we should add the Deadpool number of 1,300 acre feet somewhere to the report.
So it's easily, we could add that somewhere in the report. It's not going to change the fundamental findings of the report itself. It will require a small revision, but you guys can move forward with adoption, understanding that that revision is will be incorporated into the updated version.
Thank you. I think
So what I'm seeing here is, our response numbers, we're getting down to 10,000 acre feet. So that 13 is like, that number is existing anywhere in here. So what I'm saying is the 10,000, the ultimate number that we are, at a critical level of stumping that we are not gonna go under. It's not 13, because I see right here in the response plan, it's 10.
So it's 1,300, 1,300, not 13,000. 1,300 is Deadpool.
Adam said 1,200.
Oh, it's in between.
Okay.
So basically what the 10,000 is if we go in April at 10,000 acre feet is when we would start to enact the stages. So 10,000, we can still operate within most, we can still deliver water and still provide a service. Everything would be severely reduced. And I think when you say critical level, that's, there's a lot of definitions to that. So I want to.
Well, him and I discussed it, and that's why I was.
Just explain to me what you mean by critical level. Is that like when because like I stated, 10,000 acre feet is critical to my book, because that means we're in probably stage 4 or 5, probably 5 of the water shortage contingency plan, but we could still serve water to customers. Now, if you're asking what Deadpool is, we can't serve one more drop of water, that's like between 12 and 1,300 acre feet. And I mean, you'd have a mud puddle. So it'd be a lot different. That's why critical is not maybe the term I want to use. If you could explain it a little differently.
Okay, because that's what I was wanting to see somewhere where there was a number in here that said, this is like our ultimate, we cannot push any water at all after this point.
Push water, what can you explain what you mean by push water?
Serve anybody in this community.
1,300
You will have to have bottled water, spend it on bottled water.
1,300 acre feet.
and
Okay,
I would
so-
say that wouldn't actually be necessarily the case. Because how much water do we serve per year in a normal year? Acre feet between delivery, and consumption.
Approximately 9,400.
9,400, well, just explain it. You said critical to be 1,300, but we serve 9,400 acre feet. So that's why at 10,000, it triggers, because now normally we serve 9,400. Now we have to conserve some way, so when you do deliver that year, there is water for the next year. So,
At that point, we would serve 50% of the 9,400.
which means we would end up with somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 the next year, so. The water shortage contingency plan looks at where we are stage by stage, so I think it's difficult to come up with a set critical number like that. But I think adding in, this is Deadpool, because that kind of gives us the range at. We're at 10,000 feet, but we can still provide water all the way up to 1,300. And this is why we are kind of cutting back, because we want to make sure we have water next year to deliver. And then if next year we're starting at 5,000, then you could see the cuts we would have to do, because we have now work between 5,000 and 1,300,
I'm
so.
just looking for a little more in black and white than, don't take this wrong, your opinion of today versus in 5 years when we actually have
And
to.
I think that would be
You know what I'm
the
saying?
water shortage contingency plan has the numbers broken up that way. So if you look at the water shortage contingency plan, I think that's.
It does say if you go into the year at certain levels in the water shortage contingency plan, what the district's response is to those levels.
Okay, so the other questions I have, if I can continue, is under compliance and enforcement, which we don't have. As far as I know, because I've asked over and over about getting this done, and we have a section of compliance enforcement. But we don't have that, so I'm confused at how this section is in here without having the district having something like this in place. Or is this a direction we need to get this in?
So when you do,
Is this your recommendation contract?
well, hold on a second. The compliance and enforcements, we've discussed this before. It has to do with what we can set here at a board level. And then to enforce it, we have to find an enforcement agency. We would have to contract with some enforcement agency. So we would likely enforce a contract with code enforcement of the county. And that would only be if the district enacted some sort of ordinance or resolution of, say, watering days. You can only water Tuesdays and Thursdays in this portion of the district. And then if we caught somebody, then we would have to have somebody who has the enforcement ability. As a water district, and especially the water district we're enacted under, we do not have enforcement capabilities. So this section is a required section in the act. And there are some entities that have enforcement underneath their purview, but we do not. So we would have to contract with so what I'm gonna look for here, neighboring agency or somebody who has jurisdiction in our area that does enforcement.
Or you would have, an amendment to your ordinance that actually, have an enforcement provision in it that would trigger what would happen if you are caught stealing water. And that's under penal code. There's penal codes that cover those. And those could actually be enacted within our ordinance. And then you could also have law enforcement come in and actually do the physical, if it's that blatant.
So we do,
Could do that,
we
but
do have that
that's what
under.
my concern is that we have this listed in here. But I guess it's a regulation that we have to have it in here, but reality is, we don't do any of this.
So I'll answer, you said exactly what we would do, is we contact law enforcement. So we have in our ordinance the ability to cite for theft. But when we cite for theft, it still has to go to an enforcement agency. So the only thing we are not is an enforcement agency. The enforcement agency is the law enforcement, code enforcement, some other agency that has that ability within their scope, which is we do not have that in our scope.
At
So,
this time.
I'm so sorry?
At this time, we could.
We would never have I would never want the enforcement ability to write tickets and to collect on tickets, because it brings in a whole different set of liabilities that we do not want in our. I apologize. I
One
would.
of us has lived with enforcement of an ordinance, and you do the normal notice of violation, and you just start walking down escalated enforcement, but
So-
I just was wanting to know why this was in here, and if it's just because of a regulatory requirement, that's fine.
It is.
But we need to start, if we're gonna have something like this in here, we need to stop saying, oh, we can't do it. Because we can do it, and we can move forward. It's just, maybe you don't wanna do it.
If I can chime in here, because, this is the document and it goes in there. When it does come to an ordinance, then the board does state what the next steps are. So when the state says you're allowed to use blank, you can't use fountains, you can't use hoses, blah, 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 then the board adopts the state ordinance and makes it part of our water shortage contingency plan. And at that time, we would discuss the enforcement levels, and it would be if the state's coming around and doing it, or if we want to tie it in with law enforcement and the sheriffs, that will all come into play when there is a specific thing, but it would be part of our water shortage contingency plan.
So just to clarify what you said, the last statement you made, we do have the ability to enforce. We can enforce water theft. And I can tack fines on to bills and enforce it in that way. So there are things we can do to enforce. I can't go to someone's house if they are breaking the rules and do not stop breaking the rules. I do not have the interdiction ability, is what I guess I'm trying to say. The interdiction would come from somebody who is a law enforcement / code enforcement officer, because I don't think it'd be in the district's best interest to put our operators and or staff members in the interdiction phase of this. So there's two different things I think that we're saying. We can enforce up to a point, but there is the the final making them do it is the point where I don't want to get involved in making them do it. And that's what we do.
There's a way to do it, and if you were interested in learning how to do it, we could do.
I just want to highlight one other thing is that this section is limited to the actions listed in the water shortage contingency plan. So I don't want it to be misconstrued into thinking that other enforcement and other ordinances are encapsulated in here. This is limited to the actions as outlaid in the water shortage contingency plan.
I understand, thank you.
Director McDonald?
I have a question. At what level might it impact our hydroelectric?
I mean, any level of less water flowing through would impact hydroelectric ability. So whenever we're flowing less water through the canal system, you would have less power generation.
So it would be diminishing returns proportionate to the pressure going through the.
That's correct.
I know that coincidentally or not, Lake Mead and our dead pool is about 5% of capacity. They've had to shut down 12 of their 17 turbines already. They're in deep doo doo. But we'll be able to continue to produce linearly down, okay, without shut up. Okay. Thank you.
Director Stovall?
I have some interest in chapter 4, the water use component of this. And part of it has to do with having similar information with the strategic plan. I noticed in reviewing this online that the document online is a little bit different than what we got delivered in print here, specifically in table of 4.1 and 4.2, which is page 558 and 557 in our big book over there. Specifically, I'm looking at basically the conveyance losses. On table 4-1, it says that conveyance losses for non-potable water through the ditches is about 3,098 acre feet. And the table that's in online, it has that same number through the next 50 years, like up to 2045. One of the things we talked about and passed as a consent calendar today was that there's approximately 8,000 feet of the upper canal conveyance system is going to be put into a pipe, which was cost of $8.8 million. I know that in talking to the staff in the past, when we go back and look at the conveyance losses over the last 4 years, and as stated in the strategic plan, we've saved about 4,000 acre feet in water losses that we had previously. I know it may not be appropriate to project over till 2045 what we may be able to save in there, but I know that it's both the district and the board's interest to really try to do what we can to reduce those water losses and turn it into the potential in water transfers.
Where is it?
If you go to chapter 4,
Yeah.
water use. What I'm saying is the chapter, the two tables that we have published here are different than the ones that are online.
Okay.
And it's just, I'm not sure why, but when I looked at specific water loss, I did a search for water loss and came up a little bit different, so. I know it's the board's interest in trying to reduce these water losses and turn that into a potential transfer. I'm making a comment. I don't think I have any questions other than pointing out there's a little difference in the tables.
Yeah, thank you, Director Stovall. I think projection going forward, I think for urban water management plan, we're probably limited to 5 years. So even though, going out, we projected this through, but I think once we get something programmed into our CIP, then that gives us a definitive, this is happening within the next 5 years, and that lets us make a more informed, something that the state can't challenge if we added it as a forecast. You kind of, what's your thoughts on that, Albert?
Yeah, I would like to add something, and that would be for kind of water supply planning purposes. We typically try to approach it from a conservative nature, which means, yes, while I do agree with you that you guys are probably seeing real life reduction in that canal and conveyance loss on the non-potable portion. And for purposes of like out planning, we want to take a conservative approach. And so we held that static, kind of assuming, hey, with no further investment and further reduction in that, what would demand and supply look like and that reliability assessment look like? So for that purpose, most likely for that purpose, that's why it was kept consistent.
Thank you.
Director Donald?
For clarification, Nicholas, yes, could you tell me what the non-water usage is for the irrigation and treated water? I thought it was around 4,000. Did you say 9 earlier?
We divert about 9,400 acre feet of water. Approximately 7,000 of that is raw water, and a lot of that is water loss. So we lose water because of both evaporation, infiltration, and end of line loss. We use about 1,700 acre feet of water in potable situations.
That's about double what I was thinking, so thanks for clarifying that. Because I kept hearing recently 3,500 to 4,000.
So we've saved about 3,500 to 4,000. We used to use about 13,500. So we're down to about 99,000 to 9,500.
And I also guess I thought I heard we also only use that much.
Yeah, I may have misunderstood. I'll apologize if I missed.
Okay, I thought it was more. Now I'm back where I was 3 or 4 months ago. They did the same.
So I'll say that in actual uses,
Yes.
it's closer to 4,000 to 5,000.
It's on page,
Yeah, it's page.
the one that we have, it's 4-3,
Oh,
table 4.2, that shows the actual usage. But that's why, when I did ask, I asked what's the delivery, because we also, in order to deliver the 5,000 acre feet that irrigation and treated use, we have to put it through our canals, put it through our systems, put it through our pipes. And that delivery loss is also water that has to be added up.
I would say the better table is 4-5 on page 410. And it does show all of our different uses with the losses included. That, I believe, is where Director Stovall was referencing as well.
there we go. Okay, that's what I was thinking. It was 4,664. Thank you for that.
And Director Fisher says also look at 4.6 as well.
Yeah, that does multiple years.
Director Fisher.
So I did have one question, and it kind of ties into Director Stovall's comments about irregularities in the report. Say the day comes 3 years, 4 years down the line, where we do have to trigger some water savings measures. Everybody needs to tighten their belt, tighten up their spigots. At that time, do we use these projected numbers, or do we get to use actual? So for example, if we continue saving, we continue fixing leaks, we continue to reduce our losses, we get to use the numbers on the day that we have to start reducing that are actual numbers, not these projected. Is that correct?
That's correct. We do every year, we do an annual water supply and demand projection.
Yeah.
So we have to resubmit every July an update to this. So it's a 5-year plan, but it's a 5-year plan with every year we have to do an update to how much water we actually use.
Okay. So when people actually start having to take a hit, it's based on actual numbers.
You will know,
Not outdated projections.
you will know the reasons why and what's going.
So, I tried to also trigger this in with, the irrigation committee for all of these reports, so they can also be aware of what's going on. So first, we have the end of year annual reporting, which shows our actual water use and loss for the year. Then we have the water supply and demand assessment, that's basically what we will be the Bible to follow. This is our water supply, this is demand, this would be the loss. Then the actual levels in Stumpy when we do our reporting. Then we will actually use the levels in Stumpy based on our demand and supply and trigger watershed shortage contingency plan every month or quarter if needed. So we base an actual line payment. And there's also reporting built into the watershed comply as well, where they have to get back to the board with numbers also. Very good. Any other, Director Seaman?
So one of the, public education outreach, items that you have in the, plan, you list how, the events, which is Founder's Day, Friends of Nature Area, Nature Fest.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure what that is, but then you also have, are these static, events, static booths, that they figure all the time?
What check
Or,
were you on?
Are we including also the list that you have in agenda item 4B that we approved to be done every year?
Basically, the outreach events, if they're static or they can change, and I'm pretty sure the board can change them. but-
Yeah, they're,
Well, I mean, we have different information here, that we have one in the report that shows 2 items, and this one we have 2, 4, 5 items.
would you give me the page you're on so I can?
Are we talking 4-7
That's what I'm asking, what page?
in the report, in that, and, agenda item 4B?
Yep, but. Let me just
Or
verify.
shouldn't they be the same,
Not necessarily.
or at least, the ones that we do for sure all the time? Put in, because I don't know. The Friends of the Nature Area Nature Fest,
Yeah, we can update that, I guess, if we want, page, 4-7.
okay.
So it's
see
the
that?
information groups, public education and outreach. So if we
Well,
want,
that's all I'm asking, is it supposed to be the same, or?
if we want to update it to match what we just approved,
Sure, we can update that.
Because as you said, the Friends of Nature Area Fest, which is the American River, they'll always go to.
Yeah, we can update that to include the items that we do go to. I'll make
Yeah,
that.
so we have some consistency there.
Thank you, Director Seaman. Any other director questions? Yeah, I do have some. I do have one which was, it's in typo, which can be fixed. It's under the, executive summary report, I believe, paragraph PS1, and that's to change 2020 to 2025. And then,
It's been changed.
I do have, also to look at, the energy intensity, so I know it does cover the energy that goes to, help, deliver the water basically through our treated water plants and the other items. And the question I asked to Robert is, do you also include the, pump station generations?
We did all energy to get water to the customer's home. So those 4 pump stations are included in the energy.
All right, so that'll be good, because it does have a economic impact with the generators that we did purchase. I did talk about eventually we will have stormwater capture thrown in here, but this may not be the song I got in today, so we will,
We already do stormwater capture.
we do in terms of, I mean, when we have to put it in, we'll find a way to help, program it with the county and other stuff, because I know that's something that some of our customers are, impacts on, and we could make sure there's a full approach. Director comments, questions? Other than that, I mean, it's a pretty good document, and, just in terms of documents, and I know we have, another document coming up, so. The document that kind of is the Bible of what the connections and what we do in the district and what we need to, all the infrastructure challenges and infrastructure repairs and kind of ways we can expand for the future. That's our water supply, resiliency kind of study that we do kind of every 10 to 20 years. Fortunately, the same company had done it twice, so like Xerox, we call it the Castle study, but when it's done next, it may not be Castle, but the Castle study is kind of the one that informs a lot of what our CIP and all of that's gonna do. Then the next thing is we do have cartograph and our asset management program, and that's what the staff uses to help prioritize which infrastructure we're going to do next, and that gets programmed into our capital improvement plan. Then the other document we have is the urban water management plan that kind of takes a look at all of that stuff, but it is more directed to how are we gonna manage water in the 5 years. So it's pretty much a 5-year plan. It does project out to 2045, so we're aware of any things that we have to look at that may not be included in our CIP, like many of our directors talked about. So this is something we have to think about added, so we could, the next 5-year urban water management plan does address any of those issues that our directors affect. You all got to talk, this is my time, so are we cutting my time? I don't get to discuss. I gave every director a time and I don't get to discuss my comments. I guess I'll go first next time if they're trying to cut my time. This also has the water shortage contingency plan, which is the most important plan in case we do have a shortage. We did have to go through this process in 2022. And that's why it's in here. This is what we go to when there is a water shortage contingency. It does have the steps but it does go to the board, and the board has to approve each step of the way. And then the strategic plan, which kind of incorporates all of these things. And we want to make sure that the documents don't contradict themselves and all have the same material and is all moving us in the same place. And that was my 2 cents I got to add at the end, hopefully, kind of, even though it's a touch up. And now the Director Seaman wanted to make a motion to vote.
I make a motion that we accept the urban water management plan with correction and the water shortage contingency plan.
So there was staff direction on the updates and amendments to take. And so we will accept that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
That motion by Director Seaman, seconded by Director McDonald. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, that passes. Okay. We are done with that. Any board member requests for additional or future meeting agenda items? Director Seaman?
I would like to, one thing I didn't see, and I don't know if we need to bring this up as another item or push it back to the irrigation, is the irrigation forum that we had last year. I would assume that the irrigation committee wants to do that again for outreach and get the word out on requirements and needs of irrigation water. So I would like that either A, brought back as a board item, or B, push it to the irrigation committee and then have it brought back to the board.
So my recommendation is for the irrigation committee to come up with the ideas for irrigation forum. And then bring it back to the board, and hopefully at that time we would have the public outreach agenda that we also help and make sure that gets pushed out.
And I guess we need money for that too.
That's an agendized item that's moving forward, yes. So the request is the irrigation form. And we'll first make sure it goes through the irrigation committee before coming to us. Thank you. Any other, Director Fisher?
So add a couple and then maybe also request that this item be reopened after our next strategic plan hearing in case anything comes up out of that as well. The one we're on right now, board member requests for additional item. That's what we're asking for, is that right?
Yeah, we'll take it now before the strategic plan and then we can
Probably bring it back.
Yes.
If needed.
mhm.
So one, we talked a little earlier, I think some good comments. I appreciate hearing from folks online, their feedback of the quality of audio video. I'd like to see if we could request staff to look into some maybe, and I know when I worked with other boards before, individual mics for the participants.
We're on that.
Some of the buttons that you can push so that you know who's waiting in line, or there's just things like that. I think it'd be worth looking into, maybe bring some ideas back to the board that we could consider to just help facilitate the meetings and help with the AV.
We've been trying to do that already. We've been doing some research on best mics.
Great. And then picking up on the idea of the water forum presentation, I'd be very interested in hearing that.
Any other board member comments, issues for request? Okay. Seeing none, our next meeting will be at 5 o'clock. We will have the strategic planning board meeting. And following that, our next meeting agenda will be next month at the regular time. We're okay with that. The regular time is now 4 o'clock, so it may say 2, so remember it's gonna be updated to the 4 p.m. and that'll be July 8th. And with that, we are adjourned. We are adjourned until our next meeting, which on strategic planning. So the same meeting, all right, well, we'll call it a recess until our strategic plan is time specific at 5. Once it ends at 5. I got it. Okay, welcome everybody. We're back from the recess. This is our working meeting for the strategic plan. It is now 5:02. Okay, we will start with the GM want to do the introductions.
Yeah, we have to. Thank you all for coming. For those of you online, this will be a great opportunity to go over what the district's 2-year strategic plan will look like. There was a lot of input, we started this process over 2 years ago, and through all the board members was able to touch the document. We've had staff input on the document. So, today is the day where we can present it to the public and then receive some input from the public, which is probably the most important people to touch the document because, we are here to serve the public. So we did hire a gentleman to facilitate. His name is Larry Bianetti, and I'm going to turn it over to him to kind of do an introduction as to the purpose of a strategic plan and kind of go from there.
Well, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome Sherry, Stephen to the conversation. And basically what we're going to do today, my role has been over the last couple of weeks, it's hard to believe we've been moving this fast, to be a resource to pull together the inputs from staff, the inputs from the board. I believe we've gone through 4 or 5 iterations with respect to what we would like to present today pertaining to our mission, our values, our goals, our strategies, and the beginning of some metrics or specific tactics we're going to be using to measure our success. By way of my background, I've been in the water industry going back to the year 1989, when in previous lives and different senior leadership roles I've held in different companies, I was a part owner in a geotechnical environmental water resource firm called Kleinfelder. We were an ENR 100 firm. We had about 3,000 employees. And I was the only non-engineer in the company at the time, and I was hired specifically to run the strategy for the company, the human resources, and the management consulting division for the company, which has been my segue into water for the last 35 years, representing a lot of different wastewater districts, agencies, small, medium, large, and it's been a wonderful ride. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here today. So what we'd like to do is walk you through kind of our strategic plans. Okay, and we know that the most successful strategic plans, at least in my many years doing them, typically do not exceed 5 to 7 pages. They have to stick to the fundamentals of making sure that staff and community and others have the right resources to make sure it gets implemented. Studies have shown the average strategic plan has about a 30% success rate after the first year of attempted implementation. Why? Sometimes you dream big. We want to sometimes even solve world peace. That's not possible in a strategic plan. But my bias after all these years has been to have something very focused, very flexible to the contingencies that could happen during a 2-year period, and that is measurable and produces the results to properly serve the ratepayers. So what we'd like to do is to present where we are at this point. And the template we're looking at, again, iteration number 5, if you have a copy, I'm not sure if Sherry, you've seen a copy via the website, or Stephen via the website. I'm just going to kind of run through it. We're going to go through each page and have a conversation related to our thoughts in terms of what we'd like to accomplish for 26 to 28 strategic planning year. So at the core, yes.
For questions like mine,
yes.
Do you want to be interrupted or do you want to do your presentation?
I'm just going to go through each slide, take a breath, and then have people comments, if that's okay.
Page by page.
Yeah, I was going to do it page by page and keep it totally flexible and conversational.
I just wanted to get the ground.
So basically, at the core of any good strategic plan, we're basically, if you look at the pure definition, the purpose of the document is to confirm the strategic direction of the board and of directors, and to direct staff actions in key issue areas that impact the district's business, its customer base, and the citizens of the divide, and serve the community in the most cost-effective way in providing high quality and sustainable water supply and services. Now, that may seem like a lot of words, but at the core of every good strategic plan, those are the key hot buttons that we're going to try to hit as we present the template for how we're going to achieve that. Seeing that initial statement in the strategic plan, any comments, reactions? Thumbs up? Sherry, Stephen, any comments? Okay. I usually wait 7 seconds, no worries. All right, moving through the plan. Obviously, a table of contents, but as we go forward, here's a great message from your general manager, and I will not read it line by line. Suffice it to say that when you presented this, I know that things were very important to you that included the public trust, responsible stewardship, local control, and the importance of people being the most important asset. But we lead into that whole thing is, again, service to the community. When I started this assignment, I went deep. To start a strategic plan in 2020, from what I saw, I think we had something going on called the pandemic at the time. I look at what was going on back then, it's like a blur in all of our lives. But then I moved to the next page, because if we move to what I observed as an outsider looking in, it was rather impressive. And I think you should tell your story and pat yourself on the back. So what we did with the inputs of the board and staff we looked at the 2020 plan, the 2022 plan, the 2024 plan. And this is what we captured initially as some of the key takeaways that we should be proud of, and you should all be proud of. So rather than read those line by line, for those of you that have seen the plan, any comments or reactions to some of these achievements? Yes, sir.
Need to be nitpicking, but maybe nitpicking. One of the board actions implemented the finance committee.
Yes.
It was really reinstated. Is that just I mean, to be technically accurate, it was decommissioned or banned in an illegal board action in the previous board, and it had to be reinstated. That's why I ran. Large part, so it was reinstated. It's now, so
The previous board action was to disband the board, so the irrigation committee was disbanded, therefore it was. I mean, it's words, if you want to say reinstated or.
Talking finance committee.
Finance committee, so if we want to say reinstated, but it was disbanded, so it was no longer in existence, so.
Which he's suggesting it was reinstated.
So, yeah, if we want to put reinstated there.
Yeah, so we
Because
replaced
they
it with
more
reinstated.
words, so we put reinstated there and then. The other one would work for irrigation.
Okay, that's correct. So
So I don't know if we're doing this for accuracy, hired new general manager plural. Because we hired two within that time frame.
Okay. I'm just gonna make some notes, okay? I'm gonna read. So, it's my chicken scratch. And then two GMs. Or,
Yeah.
That's true, actually, we had a temporary, we had a.
So when we,
Hired on 1 year, not 11 months, and then we hired.
when we did the 2020 plan, it was under Adam Coyne, so there's only been Adam. Nicholas since the 2020.
okay,
It's technically Susan hired my.
That's not first, because he was, no, it was the other guy, our part-time guy, because I scared the crap out of him when I took him for a ride in the truck.
Yeah, but when we did the last strategic plan, it was under Adam. But we can add S, just add an S back then.
yes,
Yeah, general manager, so it'll cover everything from 2020, 22. So that'll cover our interim, our general manager, one, general manager.
If it matters, but yes,
it's
we
important.
had three.
Anything else about the achievements? Any reaction to the achievements from Sherry or Stephen?
Oh, I don't know. There's probably a lot more that should be included. There was the Tyler program. There was quite a few things.
Yeah.
And something maybe with the COVID, I don't know.
Would you like to share some of those with us in an email so that I can bake those in, Sherry?
Well, that's when we start.
I didn't put
That's
it in
when we-
specifically.
Yeah, but that's when you started Zoom, so that helped customers. That was a good thing, but that was because of COVID. You know,
So we can add the audio visual technology. I do know under software upgrades, it has asset management, financial, with improved reporting and monthly analysis of budget to date actuals. So it's in there
Oh, I
at the
see it.
2,000-foot level, but
Yeah, okay.
I didn't put the specific program because we're going from Tyler now to, what's the next one?
OpenGov.
OpenGov, because now
Yeah.
that is updating from Tyler, and the big thing I put in there somewhere is so we can have now have that customer portal where we can check the budget, so.
I think you'll like OpenGov.
Tyler, and whatever we have now.
OpenGov.
Tyler, that's the nickname, it's called Insert 10 Pro.
Okay, Inco Tempo,
And from.
okay,
Code.
Inco Tempo, okay.
Tyler's the nickname. Supported by Tyler's development.
And spell that again? What was the term, Inco?
INCODE.
INTO?
INCODE.
in code.
Oh, in code,
Mhm.
got it. Ken Pro. Okay.
Town hall open house.
I got a question. Director Saunders talked about a 10,000 foot view. If someone's reading this in the public that doesn't know what Tyler is and all those, what you're writing up there, is there a way to make it so that it's a little more generic?
It's an ERP software system, if you want to put that.
Okay, that would be
Enterprise record, what is it, what's the
ERP.
But I would put that after financial and then the colon and then we can put these rates in.
it's not program, it's enterprise resource planning.
We'll get all this right. Just want to get some of the main points. Okay, anything else?
How about the tunnel inspection? That was a biggie.
I'm sorry.
It's under capital improvement plans.
She said.
The tunnel inspection?
Under the capital improvement plan, so on the capital improvement plans, we have the automatic meters, the tunnel inspection. The
Oh, there
solar
it is.
project,
Okay.
tank coating.
Okay.
Water pipe, so it's there.
Okay, you good with that? Anybody else?
Rich had something, or
Andy, Director Fisher?
Just a question under staff, stabilized all critical positions in the district. I think I know what we're getting at there. Do you think a fresh pair of eyes, unfamiliar, would be able to look at that word stabilized and understand what we're talking about?
I think we should see what was in the 2020 plan, because I think I copied that from the 2020 plan. I think it was that word, but we could change that to something else.
If you'd like to address the grand jury report, you could say that you, something to the effect that we effectuated the recommendations from the grand jury report.
Okay. Grand jury report. And when was that done?
It was done in 2018 and we did all the responses back, I believe, 2020. So yeah, stabilized, find a better word for staff retention, maybe something towards that, so.
Anything else?
But we have revenue opportunity, we have contract grant writers. At that level, and then down below, you have implementing grants. And before the grant writer was in, that was, I believe that person was the grant committee. So I don't know how we can bring those together, because they were kind of one and the same at one point.
Yeah, we basically had the ad hoc grant committee, and then when we did have the grant writer, he was part of the grant committee, and then we no longer needed that ad hoc grant committee to do as much anymore, so.
So what's the suggestion?
I was just trying to figure out how to get rid of contract grant writer, put them together somehow,
Well,
where we don't have two things.
there are two different things, so implementing the grant committee was very important to get grant started. And we did have a grant writer, and then the board did contract a grant writer. The grant writer was not part of the grants committee. They were after the grant committee started. Then we hired a contractor.
Correct.
It
But
worked.
the one lady that was,
Yeah, she's not, we don't pay her for what she did.
I understand, she was part of.
She's not a grant writer, but our contracted grant writer. We actually contracted a grant writer, which is Zach Hero, who was here.
Who contracted the grant writer? The grant committee?
Yeah, we did a RFP, we sent out bids,
Okay.
no, the board, and then
The board did.
hired.
Okay.
So we have a separate grant writer who also does a board consulting. So that's, I would say separate from committee members, because the committee members were public.
So what are we concluding here? What am I gonna put up here? What am I changing?
I would not put the two together, because one is a paid contractor consultant by the
Agreed.
district, and the other was open-ended community serve.
Revenue opportunities, they both generated revenue opportunities.
Oh, so you want to put the grant committee up with the revenue opportunities? You can add them there, I guess,
I'll
yes.
put them all in the same, somehow put them together, whether they're,
Okay,
yes, one's paid and one wasn't, but they were all doing the same ultimate job.
Correct.
okay.
And then.
I have,
Can I clarify? So what you're doing is you're moving the board action
I will move the board action because that was something we did as a board.
to revenue opportunity?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna move it in that category. You know, do I need this microphone? Am I little, because I'm having a hard time trying to
So if
write.
you take off the microphone, we'll see if you leave it on the.
Yeah, I mean, if I can, it'd be a lot easier for me to write.
Just don't know if the.
Well, we'll just see. So as you talk, we'll, Sherry, if you can't hear us, let us know.
Just try to direct towards the owl, because the owl is the microphone up there. So-
The owl.
okay, I have one thing that I don't see is the 2 water sales.
We've only technically done one. I wouldn't want to include the one that we've just initiated yet.
Well, I mean, you signed them.
We could add the water transfer to the revenue opportunities.
Yeah.
Water transfer to the revenue.
I would only do one of them. The other one has not been completed yet. So I
Well,
would say,
2026.
We'll say water transfers.
Yeah.
you could say, also say implemented a water transfer policy if you like.
But we're gonna put it under the revenue opportunities category.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Just a suggestion under revenue opportunities sounds a little passive when you look at every one of those things as either revenue in hand or savings. In terms of real cash, I'd
So
maybe
they-
call it secured revenue or revenue generation.
I think revenue enhancement, secured revenue. Are we thinking revenue enhancement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That. All right. Other comments? We'll obviously get this cleaned up, so we'll take another pass eventually. Representative,
One, the completed district and board policy procedure manual, we didn't really complete it, it's still a process and motion, most of it cleaned up. But I think it's still. I don't think it's complete.
what's left? Complete.
I think we have to update things, periodically we're changing things. As of last year, year before,
I would say it's 95% policies in, so maybe implemented is a better word than completed or developed. Developed is good.
something where it doesn't say we've completed it,
Because I don't think it's ever gonna be completed. It's policies are living documents.
Probably not.
Yeah, so developed is
Developed, good, updated, is that?
no, because we developed, I guess is good.
All right.
Okay,
This is gonna be, that's for the board,
that's under board action.
yeah.
So change completed to developed.
Okay, what else?
Just a question on the water transfer, given that we preserved 4,000 acre feet of water. Should we mention how much water was in that one transfer? Rather than just transfer, what was it, 3,000 acre feet?
Are you down here? That is different. That's a lot of conservation. And untreated water canal line.
No, he wanted to tie in
One time,
the water saved with the water we were able to transfer.
I'm raising a question, that
yeah, he's raising the question.
we transferred roughly 3/4 of what we were able to conserve.
So we could put in the amount, 3,500 acre feet.
3,500 acre feet were,
Was it 3,500 or 3,000?
3215.
3,250.
But I caution us to put that in the strategic plan because it hasn't been completed yet. There
No,
is.
the last, this is.
Oh, that was 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3,250.
No, that was 2,000.
2,000.
Sorry, I
Sorry.
apologize.
2,000 acre feet.
Okay, 2,000 acre feet. So give me the word.
I don't know the number.
Yeah, 2,000 was the number. Can I ask a question here? At the end of the day, it's all about the money. Can we put 2,000 acre feet, AKA X thousand million?
Yes,
Because people don't know if it's $2 or.
That's a good point. Good point.
We'll look that up
So we're gonna translate that into.
Yeah, provide the exact
monetary.
amount, right?
Okay, okay, so translate,
We can do gross and net, because I think it was,
translate to gross and net monetary gain.
yeah.
But what number are you gonna use?
We did have a meeting, I believe we went over it last month's board meeting, so we'll take the numbers that was provided then. Because I think we did provide a gross and a net at the last board. So I don't know what it is offhand, but whatever
Okay.
is provided.
Anything else?
Possibly the low income increase to the 50,000. I know it was originally approved in 18 or 19, but
I
they,
would say,
huh?
that's, no, I was gonna say, that's great. I would say the 50%, we do 50% of the base right now. I
Oh,
would,
good, it's good.
Well, yeah, but it's 50,000 maximum, $1,000 amount,
that's
and it
fine.
was 35, so.
So how do we translate that into wording?
So I would say, low income assistance program.
that provides up to 50% of your base rate. The problem with the 50,000 and 35,000 is we never really got close to the 35,000.
I'll capture it though.
So
Right,
I like
but
that
you-
say,
Yeah, you
So
authorized it, the board did.
50%, what is that?
50% of your base rate for
50% of the base rate.
50 for 5-inch, 3/4, 5/8 inch, 3/4 and 1-inch.
And the district fund is increased to 50,000.
Yeah, we'll have to get the details here. I'm
Yep.
familiar with it, but we'll definitely, thank you for that, Sherry. Anything else?
It is Cherie, by the way.
Oh, Cherie?
It's on the E.
I know that's important. 'cause
I should know, I have a sister named Sherry, my apologies.
Well, it's okay. They called me
Cherie.
Sherry for Sherry the first 20 years, so.
Cherie, I'll make sure I put a little Sicilian accent
Okay.
to that. Okay, anything else to add here? I got a feeling once we can tweak this, get the language right, we should do another flyby.
Yeah.
Cause I think we'll probably pick up some other achievements. So they are notable. I want to share with you. Maybe I'll just call you small but mighty, but the one thing I'd like to comment that I don't see a lot of, and again, I represent agencies 30, 40 times the size of this. I don't think I've ever seen the success of grant funding and period of time that you've achieved in that. I put them in every strategic plan, and 9 times out of 10, they just go dormant. But
I think
that's all. That's all.
the biggest accomplishments, if we wanna put an asterisk on anything, is the grant fundings
Yeah.
and finally getting the investment thing there. As we showed, we've seen a
Yeah.
increased return about 800%, so.
Okay.
We were averaging about, it was started at 70,000 and 1 year it was 10,000 and now we're in the hundreds of thousands, so that was significant.
Would you like to put asterisks by some of these major achievements?
It's up to the board.
Okay, well, let's see what the next draft looks like, and then we can tweak that. Yes,
So on the solar project, it's not starting.
correct.
So why is that in there right now? Because this is achievement.
Well, have you secured a
It's
provider?
secured and we're
I
breaking
mean,
the ground.
it's like saying,
So,
If I can add the reason I added it in here, so in our 2022 strategic plan, it said to invest or find ways to explore solar projects. So I put in, we have a solar project which is to begin in 2026. So it does say when it's beginning, it doesn't say it started yet, but it was defined to explore having a solar project to defer PG&E energy costs. And that project is gonna begin this year to defer PG&E energy costs, so I think it does meet what we're doing.
We could add fully funded.
And it's in our CIP, and we could add fully funded too.
Okay.
and I'll just clarify why I'm saying, even though it's not complete. Why I would include it is because we've already signed contracts and the water transfer. There's a chance that water doesn't get moved for any number of reasons. So that was kind of where I say I caution to include the new one.
I think you're gonna be very pleased to see the outcome of the solar project 3 to 5 years. Got some that are literally powering wastewater treatment plants right now. Okay, anything else? Can we move now to the skeleton of the plan? So I don't think there's a need for me to restate this, but I know that some board members brought up some comments related to how we present our district overview, how we present our history. And I believe all this is accurate, right? Amount of water served approximately 12,000 acres per year.
That's what I wanted this.
That's what I thought I would, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm understanding it's called the 8,300 acre feet now. So what does that water serve, 12,000?
Yes, referring to table 4-5 of the urban water management plan, there was a total amount of 5,166 acre feet delivered as opposed to served. And we can divide that down to 1,628 acre feet of treated water and 3,803 acre feet of agricultural water per year.
Can I get that restated? Yeah, change to?
A total of 5,166 acre feet of water delivered, which is comprised of 1,628 acre feet of treated water and 3,803 acre feet of agricultural. You want to say irrigation water?
It's irrigation water.
Irrigation water.
And I would change delivered to serve, because you deliver more than that to serve that.
Okay, so change
Delivered
to serve.
Yeah, because we deliver maybe 3,000 to 4,000 acre feet more to serve them.
Okay.
I understand.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on the overview that we've missed?
I have a question on the, is that Pilot, and Rock Creek Canal Company, or the Pilot and Rock Creek Canal Company?
Two different companies, should be common.
Should be a comma after Creek? Where?
There's a comment there.
There is a comment.
It's-
I just was trying to find, the Pilot by itself means kind of nothing.
Yeah, it's.
Your pilot does,
I can't read it. from this.
okay, it basically says a series of private water companies. And the El Dorado, Pilot and Rock Creek Canal Companies.
I think we should say Pilot Creek and Rock Creek.
Pilot Creek.
And Rock, there's two different.
Instead of,
Got it.
instead of Pilot and Rock.
Thank you.
It should be Pilot Creek.
They're both creeks, but they're Pilot Creek and Rock Creek. But when you mash them together, it doesn't sound right.
Or to take the comment out real quick.
Well, it's two different creeks.
Otherwise, they'll think it's the gas station along the side of a road. Okay, anything else on this that needs to be updated? Okay. So moving to the next slide. This is where we're gonna have some conversation.
And I guess we can use the Pilot again, under history.
Okay, as we sit here, I believe we have 4 different versions of what we would like to categorize as our mission. Our mission basically is our why. Why do we exist? What's our purpose? So,
You get that one fixed under
Sorry.
BBUD history, there's that Pilot again
okay,
by itself.
so pilot is still there under GBU history.
Yeah,
Under history,
should say Pilot Creek,
under history, check for Pilot Creek.
the first one.
All right,
Okay, now.
all right, so. Our why for existence, why we exist, our mission. So allow me to just read them aloud. Sometimes you can feel it in your soul. That may sound weird, but if I read it aloud, we can see if we've hit all the right buttons. Because our mission statement is going to be that general document that is now going to be supported by pillars that we're going to call goals and strategies as we get into the main plan. So, mission statement version 1 goes to suggest this: ensure reliable, high quality drinking water, irrigation water, and wastewater services for the divide communities while responsibly stewarding water rights, resources, and building a resilient infrastructure to prepare to meet future needs. You baked in all the bullets on that one. Okay? Let me read number 2. Ensure reliable, high-quality drinking water, provide irrigation water and wastewater services while stewarding our water rights and supply, ensuring fiscal responsibility and building a resilient infrastructure to meet future needs. That was your 2024 stage. That was in your 2024 plan. So version 1 augmented version 2 to incorporate. So then model number 3, which is not uncommon, that you're basically calling this out for the eyes of the customer, right? For our customer, visualization, this is just the header. Visualization is important. Highlight specific areas rather than combining them into a single sentence. So here was a suggested rewrite. That initial rewrite suggested that we ensure high quality drinking water, provide irrigation and wastewater services, and we'll clean up the English, steward our water supply and water rights to provide community safety and quality of life, provide excellent responsive customer service through dedicated and valued staff, ensure fiscal responsibility, transparency, and accountability are observed by balancing immediate and long-term needs. So I believe this one would like to be augmented, correct? Now, did we want these new bullets considered or?
Well, I think the first question is to decide if we want to go with the bulleted version or the straight single statement. So, and I think the people to ask on that is the public more than the board too. So, Cherie, what are your thoughts?
Cherie?
Bulleted versus single.
I like the bullet points, but also you need to uncapitalize services, wastewater services.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said we fixed that.
Yeah, that was a typo there.
Okay. Yeah, I
Color.
the third version, it gives it more details.
Yep. So we'll augment what's, if we decide with the bulleted, we'll make sure to augment what's in all the versions into that one.
Okay.
Anyone in the room from the public would like to make any comments?
Heckler in the audience.
No, I have no comment.
All right, that's my wife, Larry, so that's why everybody's kind of chuckling here.
I was thinking.
You're gonna get back.
You sure will. Andy?
Okay,
Robert?
There's a version 4 that was provided by Mitch,
yeah, I have it here.
and I would suggest using his number 1 bullet to replace the 1 and 2 bullets in the existing draft.
Yeah, are we talking about the bullets or the sentence? Because I have a version 4 sentence here.
So we're gonna replace the first sentence in his version 4 with bullets 1 and 2, because it does incorporate those two.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
That's my proposal. That's one proposal to discuss. That since.
Okay, why don't we
Yeah,
read
let's
it?
read that.
Okay, why don't we? It would be a lot easier if I could have it on screen. Okay. So I am gonna read, which one? That one?
Which one, Mitch?
Just the first one.
Just the first.
Ensure the safe and reliable delivery of high quality drinking water, irrigation water, and wastewater services.
Okay, and then that's gonna be followed by responsibly steward water rights and natural resources.
No, it would just replace the first 2 bullets of the original. It's my opinion.
Okay,
That's my opinion.
No,
What is Director Freeman?
I kind of like the way,
To the
I
fire
hate to
team.
say this to you, but I kind of like what you gave us there. Because
Right. Not today. Go ahead.
articulate. Because, you know, the steward part, you know, in the other one. Doesn't sound, it sounds, this one is responsibly steward water rights and natural resources. that's what's real. Some of this in this other one, community safety, quality of life, that is a part of ensuring high quality drinking water. That's ensuring irrigation and wastewater services. That's required by law, but we don't need to have this extra. But that's what you're required by law to do, community safety and quality of life. That's in the Port of Cologne Water Act. That's your job.
So you like more than responsibly stewarding on water rights and supplier resources, just leaving it that way.
Yeah, because I mean, natural resources, big category. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's my foot.
Yeah,
And when I look at, providing community safety is that we do not
We do.
engage in preventing forest fires, but we engage in mitigating them through, providing the irrigation line as a fire line. So to me, that is community safety right there. And the quality of life on the divide, of having irrigation services, I think what we do in providing that is a quality of life. So that's a different perspective.
Out of the tap.
Say again?
As a worker,
That's an untainted water you could drink out of the tap, that's the standard of life we have.
but that's as a work, that's what our employees do. They provide the safe drinking water, and their ultimate responsibility is safety, human health, and the environment. So there's a 3 tags that hit when they're signing their, I'm gonna be working in water, wastewater, stormwater, whatever. That's their ultimate goal. Is that right, Isabel?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge class of two.
So this is on staff, so would staff like to see it highlighted in division, or do you believe it's understood that it's
I don't really have a preference either way. I just would say, I think what she's trying to say is it's incorporated in the treatment and distribution of the water
yeah.
already, so it's kind of redundant, but it's just.
That was kind of the point.
Yes, the only reason I,
Reiterate it again and again and again.
the only reason I think you may have added it here is, this is like insider baseball, so everybody sitting here and the staff fully understand that that's the role of what we do as a water district, that we supply clean, safe water, and we do give our CCRs, which I added in as one of our goals that show
Yeah.
that our water is safe.
It's coming in the goals.
But the outward facing thing is we want to ensure that the community knows, hey, this is one thing that we are. This is our vow, this is our mission, to continue to provide you with clean, safe drinking water. That's, one of our main missions, so that's the 2 ways to look at it.
I think
Does the layperson understand it, or should we highlight it?
is anybody confused right now where we are with this mission statement? Okay. Well, no, I'm just asking because I want to
I
be sure.
want to piggyback on what you said about responsibly steward natural resources. That's a version 4 proposal.
Right.
I don't think that should be in our strategic plan as far as emissions. I think it's too broad and not understood.
How do you all feel about that? Should be a point. Well, it's very broad. I don't know if you'll step on anybody else's toes that are shepherding natural resources.
That would be,
Resource Conservation District, maybe.
Yeah,
And the reason I like maintaining water supply and water rights, especially as this is our strategic plan in 2 years looking down the road. What's gonna happen with the Colorado River Basin? What's gonna happen with looking for other sources of water in the headwaters? So I think that's why protecting and our water rights is important, and protecting our water supply is not only important for us, but the entire state.
are we able to get closure on this now, or do we get the next iteration and have you look at it? The
Well,
next iteration
I
of
think we
bullets.
agreed we're on bullets, so I think.
Okay,
what
because we're
we
on
need to do
bullets,
is
but
Each one of us provide.
I'm not convinced that natural
Yeah,
resources.
each one of
is
us
the right term.
provide where we wanna go with the statements for the next one, that might be the next iteration.
Yes. I believe your hand was up first, Director Seaman.
I kind of I can see getting rid of the and natural resources, leaving ensure the safe and reliable delivery of high quality drinking water, irrigation water, and wastewater services. Responsibly steward water rights,
Period.
period. Maintain fiscal responsibility and long-term financial stability. And build and maintain resilient infrastructure to meet current and future community needs. I think that's the best one.
Let me go to Director Fisher.
So I think I agree with Director Seaman was gonna suggest, you know, when I read version 4 bullets. Could be tweaked, but it resonates with me, I understand it,
Well, you gotta
it's
feel
something I can get behind.
Yeah.
So maybe if that's the one we kind of put forward and and use as our next template, there are maybe some elements here that need to be brought in, hopefully not cluttered up too much, but it's so succinct the way it is, I really like it.
Okay.
Get behind it.
Director Stovall, your feelings on that?
Two things, is one is how do we deal with this? Do we take one system, one drink of 3 or 4 and vote on it, or? And then the other question is, comment, is that I like the last bullet on the original because it includes transparency, accountability.
Yeah, the last ballot for version 3 was,
Yeah, it does.
it included the board. So that is what was missing in the other one was board action, so transparency and accountability is not only what we do as.
The last bullet on version 3.
Yeah, not only what we do as a board as the liaison between the community, as accountability with the district and what's going on, but accountability on us as well. So that's what's-
And if you look at your short survey you did, that's what you're going to get.
And bullet 3 covers it out for fiscal responsibility.
But it does not have anything with transparency and accountability, which is what's also reflected in the customer service.
Okay, what?
Okay, continue.
Well, what I was trying to go through is the fiscal responsibility. And you're right, you don't have transparency, add that in here. Either A, get rid of number 3 and put in the last line into this one.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or, so then we still have the
Yeah, we can
same
put that in.
core.
Right.
We
Yeah, let's
just
put that
add in transparency in that.
Director John, did you want to add anything before I go to Director Stovall? Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to hear the arguments of deleting provide excellent, responsible customer service with dedicated and valued staff. Why should we not include that?
Well, it's a good point. They are one of the anchors.
I have no argument against it, that's why it was in my work, because we have to make sure we provide high service to the customers, that's one of the big things, that's where the majority of customers are going to interface with the district, it's not gonna be our water supply, they're gonna turn on their tap and get water, the places where our first complaints we usually get, which we do, is if they ever have any trouble with customer service.
One of our pillars, the 5 pillars that support this mission statement are your people. And so at some point you're calling that out, so. Anyhow, Director Stovall?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Add 4 or 5?
Well, if we combined like,
Yeah,
5 with version 4.
on version 4,
Director Seaman was talking about.
right?
Less is more, short and sweet.
Transparency.
And then add the
Add
transparency and accountability, because this board here, besides a few other items that we ran on, it was about accountability and transparency and data-driven analysis, making decisions. That was huge for us. So, yeah, I support that.
Okay, and if you look at, even though we've only had 36 responses to that external survey I ran, you'll see that the general trend outlined there, even in the narrative comments, did call out transparency and accountability. So it would behoove us to listen to our public as well. So, okay, I think I have an idea how this is gonna work. So I think we're gonna get there with this.
So it looks like 5-ish bullet points.
It's gonna be 5-ish bullet points.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Any other conversation about this? You know, what's interesting, I'm sure those of you that have done strategic planning before, I could literally spend 4 to 6 hours. I've spent more just going wordsmithing and the like, so I think you're off to a good start.
Yeah,
And I like things that are original. I don't like things that you pull off an Enron shelf.
so combine the third one there.
Right.
Number 5 with number 3 on version 4.
Right.
Okay, yeah. And then.
And make sure we call out that
We have that.
bullet right there.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that one too, yeah.
all right, are we good?
Yeah.
All right, next thing. You didn't have these before, but boy, it sure would be nice to have. You can call this a code of conduct. You can call it the way we do business. It's how staff holds each other accountable, how the board holds each other accountable, how you communicate, the core values in a lot of organizations. But this just can't be a frame on the wall. This has got to be something you truly believe in, and you're going to model in your behaviors and actions. And in the best water districts, they're proud to put their mission and their core values right there in the boardroom. And they have that as their guideposts. It's often said, mission determines destination, values measure the rightness or wrongness in how you make decisions and the behaviors you display. So when we met with staff, it started with your staff, right? We threw some trial balloons out there, some ideas. We looked at, I did some research to say, what are some of the highest performing water districts I've worked with in my time? What do they feel like? What do they look like? What do their core values represent? And one thing after another, you always find the public trust. You find stewardship at the core. You find service excellence. You have the safety and well-being of your workforce. I mean, to provide for a safe and healthful work environment for your staff should be the #1 priority in any. But you're basically putting it out there for your staff, but also for your community, right? When your workforce is out there. And then collaboration and respect. What's the beauty of the word collaboration? Any idea? How does it differ from the word compromise?
Collaboration is, from my viewpoint, is the sharing of resources. While communication is sharing of information. Coordination is doing things together, but collaboration is actually sharing resources. The human, financial, knowledge, that's how I look at collaboration.
Some of the more successful labor management relations I've done in my life, interest-based, have always been collaborative, right? It's not about sometimes who's right, it's about what's right, right? You engage in a collaborative discussion about, here's the problem or issue, let's talk it through, let's work it out. How does it fit our mission? How does it fit our strategy, our core values? So that's just the top line. And then board effectiveness. I mean, I think calling that out to the community would be a good thing. Not uncommon in organizations to have a code of conduct, very common. When you launch core values and, you know, the board has their code of conduct, the staff has their way of doing it. So that's how we got to where we are. And these are just some terms of art that we put in to support these terms. So any thoughts? Are there terms we're missing that should be a baked in core value? Director Fisher?
I mean, I look at all this and the word that comes to mind is leadership, and being on the divide for 30 years, I think that's what I've seen in this board that I didn't see 20 years ago. And one of the reasons I got involved with water was to see leadership stepping up. And I got to take my hat off to my colleagues, because most of the accomplishments of colleagues and our general manager and the staff happened before I got here. They were the ones that endured contentious campaigns and did the heavy lifting to get all that done. So I really take my hat off to them. And just kind of thinking about what you're saying, it's either going to be a document that we live by, or we need to put some skin behind it ourselves. And I wondered what my colleagues would think about starting with a kind of a code of conduct for us that I don't think we have, where of other agencies that have. Would that be a good leadership example to consider for ourselves. To keep kind of building on this leadership that I think we're showing.
It is an accepted best practice, and also too, rather than have this as a frame on the wall. Nick, this would apply to your staff as well. I mean, you may want to bake these measures into your performance management system. I do in other water districts that, you know, we bake them into the performance appraisal in addition to the other performance factors. So, you know, you have a way of really walking the walk and walking the talk. That's the key thing.
The one thing I can add to that is I know, our law firms has a template on code of conduct, and this is something we could do. One thing we do great with our board is we customize everything specifically to how it works in our district, how it works on the divide, how it works for us. So that's something we could have like a workshop and come up with, you know, the code of conduct and the values on our board based on, you know, how we operate and incorporating what, you know, our law firm has based on that.
Yes.
And I think it's also something that could be built into measurement.
I mean, you want to go to the next step is, you know, we're talking about performance management for the team, but not uncommon for boards every year or so to do their own peer review. You know, kind of do a checkup from the neck up, you know, as board members, you know, how are we working as a team? And you use it as a strength-based leadership model. And I have very large water districts doing this right now because it's part of the harmony you're trying to build. And, you know, boards evolve. You know, boards sometimes need a couple years to find their feet. You know, like you said, Director Fisher, you've seen an evolution.
Absolutely.
And this will continue to perpetuate that evolution. Any thoughts on this?
Sheree has her hand up as well.
Oh, Sheree? Sheree?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. How about words that I see missing are honesty and fiscal responsibility? That's the number one job duty of a board that I've read.
Honesty and fiscal responsibility into the board effectiveness core value.
Yeah, wherever.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just a show, I'm kind of reading the nonverbal communication. Director Seaman, how do you feel about these core values?
I think, they need to be, felt a little deeper within our group. When I first started, we had a core group that engaged with respectful and informed decision making. And continued, working and communicating with each other, and no one was felt, like they were, when they speak, not, you know, they're above everybody. And that went to pot about 2.5 years ago.
Are you open to this idea of using maybe a code of conduct conversation to reactivate that? Okay, I think it would be worthwhile.
And you have models of that.
Yeah, just working with the council. He's got some fantastic models. I've got one, but let's not reinvent the wheel here. There's some good ones out there. Save money, you can spend a couple hours one day, tease it out, and find something that's unique and authentic that will support what you all need to be an effective board. So in general, are we good? Can I move? All right. So now that we've determined our direction, some guidance on how we regulate our behaviors and decision, now we have to get to the guts, all right? Now we get to a lot of people, my challenge in strategic planning has over the years, and you'll appreciate this. I have people that can't tell me the difference between a goal versus an objective, an initiative versus a strategy, an outcome versus a tactical. So a good strategic plan has like a food chain, right? Typically, the most successful ones always try to do something for your public, and that is your why. Anytime you do a goal, or you take your ratepayer into a direction, why is it important? So I think you've done a good job in your strategic plan to outline why reliability is an important pillar as you build these 5 pillars to support your mission. So basically what we did, right, working together, we are still at about 5,000 feet, the plane's coming down, right? We're not at landing gear. Landing gear is gonna happen when we take that strategy of the Stumpy Meadows Reservoir water supply. That's gonna be a strategic focus the next 2 years, likely beyond. But here are gonna be the measures, the specific tactics that we're gonna put measurement to and empower staff and even the board to execute. So there's gonna be a SMART objective, right? A SMART objective is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. That is to come. But now we've laid out to the general manager and their team, we, the board, support that strategy. We support the initial measures. Now put the gear down. Let's build an accountability dashboard to measure it. That's where we're going. We haven't seen the dashboard yet. That's coming. So with that in mind, we have 3 core strategies to support reliability. The Stumpy Meadows water supply, developing redundant supply, and then supply planning and advocacy. Those are the 3 key strategies. Within those strategies, here are the different areas we're going to pursue to essentially put gear down on that strategy. Now, I know we've gone through a lot of iterations. We've been through 4 on these with the board and with staff. So where do you want to go with this?
So G is goal, S is strategy, and KP is what?
Key performance indicator. So these are going to be translated into a dashboard where every quarter, maybe, I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but the general manager and the team will be reporting back how they are doing on executing these specific key performance indicators. All right, there's got to be timelines put to these, accountability measures, who's going to do it, when, they're going to be prioritized. It's going to be key to your plan. What gets measured gets done.
Before we go to Director Stokel, the other thing I can add is every time we have an agenda item or a decision that we make, we can point it to one of these key performance indicators or goals or strategies. So we can say this fills in with Q1, S1, KP2 or whatever. So these are things that can be
It's a one-page document.
that can be tracked with all of our decisions or agenda items, things like that. We can tie it with Director Stokel.
Just a wordsmith, I didn't realize that stormwater comes in square feet.
Yeah.
That's under G1, S2, KP1.
Yeah, I think I captured that from one of you.
Should be, well, I think it should be acre.
Acre feet.
Okay, it should be acre feet.
Just check.
And
Okay. So,
And we're changing it to Edson Dam, not Edison Dam.
Yep, Edson Dam.
I gotta recall what I read, so let me change these things. So we're talking about goal 2. Strategy 2, G1, okay, got it.
And we probably wouldn't call that stormwater because normal years we do that.
So give me the wording.
What's the better?
Rainwater.
Runoff?
It's stormwater.
Well,
Stormwater capture.
It is stormwater.
Rainwater, it's
Runoff.
precipitation.
well, it's what flows through our,
The legal. Forward.
Runoff, like.
Under the code.
Is it?
is it?
What is it, the term we're gonna use, stormwater?
Well, if it's snowpack, it's not storming, it's melting, so it's runoff, right?
Water?
I would say water. Water captures everything. So water for now, and then we'll see what everybody.
Okay, we're gonna change stormwater.
To just water, and everybody can kind of do some research and see if we come up with anything better to add. But I think at this point, general is better because this way we can capture rainwater, stormwater, everywhere else.
In case it's running off the mountain.
Yep.
The sentence before that states stormwater capture and the capture portion. Yeah. Stormwaters may be redundant.
Yeah, so water would be good.
Well, it's funny, some water districts now have like a third lake. Lake 1, Lake 2 is the wastewater, Lake 3 has become stormwater.
Yeah.
It just as a term of art. So we'll put it in, figure out the next draft
I mean, we haven't stuck in there in the sentence before, so I think,
Okay,
I think it's there.
all right. Anything else on this one? I know we've gone through a lot of iterations, so, Sharif, what's your general feeling about what we see here?
It looks good. Maybe overflow water? Because it's
Overflow water.
overflowing the dam.
Yeah, but they're saying we're capturing the water that's getting into the dam, not the overflowing water.
Let's see,
The capture portion of the, okay. No, it looks good.
Am I allowed to call on
Yes, Sarah.
Sarah? How do you feel about it?
I wasn't thinking about it.
Okay. We better get a nice dinner, okay? Anything else on this one? Okay.
this, just one fun, is spillway the title of the Edson Dam? Is it called Edson Dam Spillway?
No, the full thing is the Edson Dam. We do have a spillway under there.
So S,
So don't capitalize.
knock off the capital S.
Yeah.
Okay, knock off capital S. Okay.
You could just say passes over Edson Dam.
Yeah,
Just
I
get rid
would
of the
get
word
rid of
spillway.
Yep.
Passover,
Just get rid of the word spillway.
Edson Dam.
Edson Dam. Gotta see that someday.
Because everything that passes over there is part of our water rights.
All right.
Goes through the spillway. It's no longer ours.
Okay, now this one here, I'm gonna just call this out. I
Still
think.
goes to our
It's very,
Fazios.
it's a great water, or great.
In this crazy world we live in, it's always good to maintain strategic alliances and partnerships and appropriate networking, so. You see where some of the focus will be here. Anything else to add to this one? We called out the urban management water plan. We called out the annual water declaration and making sure we stay vigilant to those assessments. The Prop 4 funding. And again, just maintaining appropriate relationships with federal and state representatives. That pop can change in month overnight. Okay, can I go to the next goal? So this first one builds on reliability. Okay, you're gonna have a safe, effective water supply. Now we're moving to sustainability. I want to make sure you're comfortable with the terms of art. We're gonna refer to it as treated irrigation and wastewater, correct? We're gonna use the word irrigation.
Yes.
Okay, and are we gonna have the word raw anywhere in here in the plan?
We'll see if there's a place where it comes in. The difference between raw water and irrigation is all the water we receive is raw until it's treated. So everywhere it goes, it's raw water. Raw irrigation receives raw water. Treated customers do, but it's treated. So raw does go from Stumpy all the way to the treatment plant. So unless there's a place we want to highly identify it, I think it would be identified any place we do hydro, because hydro would specifically get over. So I think this is looking at our sustainability, and we called out the services. So I think our services are treated irrigation and wastewater.
Okay. Yeah, and again, what we did here in the plan, recall the previous strategic plan, we had like 10 different goal areas. And when I saw that, I said, why can't we bake water into water, right? Just take it, consolidate it. And I think the board and the staff did a really good job finding that consolidated approach. But if we can pull out that entire strategic goal, Taylor, we'll just get to strategy number 1 and 2. So we can just visually look at what we're going to accomplish here.
So I think the only wrinkle, I hate to throw it in here, that's missing would be energy. So energy would cover our solar projects with PG&E and hydro. So that would be the only thing if we wanted to throw into our water system sustainability would be our energy, because that helps with.
Where's that, Director Saunders, again?
I would throw that in with our water system sustainability. I would put in energy as well as maybe strategy 4.
Energy to water system sustainability and strategy 4. Yep. Okay. And I'm just looking at these. I should have asked you on the previous slide. We're talking about these being a 2-year run, right? What we're putting here for strategies and key performance indicators are 2-year runs. right? So I just want that well known. That's why I was very careful to make sure you didn't overload this. But
Yeah.
That's what you have to worry about.
That's why we're,
Groundbreaking on solar, I think we're there.
Yeah.
And also specifically to hydro, we will be taking over the contract for what hydro is available within 2 years.
That's gonna be huge,
Yeah.
huge. And it's funny, even if you look at the survey that's come in so far, there were 2 or 3 respondents that talked about, evaluate areas to potentially serve additional customer capacity and demand. And there were some board members that brought that up.
Yeah.
I think it was also important to point out that some board members brought up the importance of ensuring we stay compliant to environmental regulations
Yep.
and policies and procedures. Now, it's got to be a real key thing. And I know that you were concerned about, these issues with the water loss, with the canal lining, the piping initiatives, water theft. So, and the vegetation management. So a lot of these things that have been brought up are now baked into this particular sustainability criteria.
your hydrant flushes in there.
Yeah. And again, we'll obviously put our continued success efforts with grants and appropriate. This, for the lift station and recycle treatment system, is that a new initiative? Is there a grant being pursued for that?
We are pursuing it. That's one of the funding costs where we're gonna have to get an appropriation for the state. Or there are some places that does have wastewater, but it is in our CIP if funded. So we're looking for funding sources.
So, Cherie, did you have any comments about goal number 2?
Muted. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ground control.
I'm in the middle of cooking a stir fry, so.
Stir fry, so she's gotta get those noodles going. Okay.
No, not noodles, all vegetables and meat.
Right.
Yeah, no, I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it. Have you gotten to the survey?
We're coming to that
Okay.
shortly. Right, so we're gonna now jump over to strategic goal number 3, and this is this was another one we consolidated. We had 2 or 3 different goals in this, and we kind of baked it all into one category. But what's interesting about this one is it's gonna be a real opportunity for you all to figure out how to communicate with your public. All right, if you'll see the survey results tended to point more towards email updates, right? We didn't see a lot of love shown towards your website per se. We saw inserts were in there as a possibility, but it was like there wasn't one best model. You had got 7 or 8 different. So this one, in my opinion, requires a deeper dive.
And it's hard because the Divide community, as we saw with one of the members who was here in our board meetings, they don't do email, so it's text or call by phone. So we have some people that don't even do text, so they just have phone is the only way you can contact some people. So we do have that full gamut. So that's why inserts will hit some people and things like that.
I want to honor your budget, but boy, sometimes it's worthwhile to have a resource to come in and do like a peer review or assessment of, what are some of the best communication engagement strategies we should be using that we're not, without busting the budget. But I know that you bake that into as a resource, right? So these are just some things that through staff's input, board input, they want to be sure we continue. And most important was transparency and engagement with the community. I mean, even what we're doing tonight, maybe we started I know it's 5 o'clock, but there's a desire to look at how we do our board meetings, how we present our minutes, and how we engage our publics. You've probably done more things than I've seen for a small district. I mean, even that irrigation committee meeting I attended. What you're doing with your publics is a good thing. So anything.
Cherie has a break in between.
Okay, Cherie, so move the vegetables aside. What's your thought?
I have one thing that I think needs to be thought of in emergency situation like what happened yesterday where Verizon, AT&T was down. There was no phones, no email, anything. So some strategy or something for some kind of emergency communications.
You see, Sheree, that's a good point, because we might be, like, when we get to goal number 5. Yeah, you're right. Something's gonna have to link goal number 5 and goal number 3.
Because I think it was a situation yesterday where the district had no email and probably no phones, like everybody else.
Radios?
The trucks used to have CB radios.
Yeah, even the firefighters.
Well, you can also get a cheap satellite internet system,
Yeah.
possibly.
They were down too.
Yeah. Like Starlink was down.
Oh, yeah.
We have had tons of issues. I have Starlink in my house and it has not worked well for the last 2 days. I think there was a massive solar flare that came out.
Yeah, something even happened in Tahoe.
That's right, solar fiber,
Yeah.
Okay, that brings up the issue. I think there's, I forgot what it calls it, an emergency response plan or something that needs to be done every 5 years.
Yes,
And
That's in the plan.
that's an additional document.
yes.
It's not, I mean, that's a whole other document of itself.
But I mean, the one downside of that is that's a document that doesn't get shared with the public. So we have to find a way to incorporate the emergency responses with the public.
Okay, anything else on this one? All right, 2 more. What's there? Goal number 4. And you should really pat yourself on the back on this one. And here's where we tried to really look at, 2024 plan, 2022 and your achievement. But I think if there were terms that your ratepayer would want to see, if you could go up there, Taylor, to why I suggested this. I think those are 3 important terms that your ratepayers need to see as a header, right? Not only internally, but the enhancement. So you'll see what we've done here. I want to thank the board for all your feedback here. But any thoughts that we kind of pull it up, Taylor, show some of these specific areas. There's really only one strategy on this one. And there may seem like there's a lot in there, but I think you feel it's all important that we stay vigilant to making sure we don't miss the mark. These accountability factors. Your budget is done annually, not every 2 years. Annually.
Yep. And we do it along with the CIP as well. That's right. So yeah, same sentence.
Is utilize the online financial portal.
So we do have a new one that's supposed to work. I don't know if, I think we have implemented, educate the public and the board to utilize it. So that's the new OpenGov has that. So once, it's been figured out how to use it and get it to us, that's the plan.
Have any of you used OpenGov yet?
Yeah, we're using it now.
Okay,
I use it all day, every day.
I mean,
And the public and board portal is available, we just haven't set it up because we haven't migrated utility billing, so I'm literally spending all day in the journal entries. So that our systems still match financially.
it does work pretty well. I've
Oh,
seen
love it.
the potential is unlimited. Director Singh?
One is somewhere add in here, minimize costs and expenditures. Because we have it here where the reduction in budgeting and operational costs, but we need to also take a harder look at reducing costs to customers through our expenditure, that's board members, our expenditure. On different items that gets purchased or not purchased. Look for the best cost for them. Yes, deciding I wanna go spend something. Or more justification for why you're doing what you're doing.
Okay, how do we spot this? It's a balancing act. So, all right, anything else? Okay. We're almost there. Let me go to the next one. Goal number 5. And again, consolidating 2 or 3 goals into one, but when you look at it in terms of a human asset and a physical asset, they all count. And I think you're sending a strong message by calling out your staff. Some water districts sometimes have said to me, you know, Larry, the customer comes second. I said, really? Yeah, they do. Only when, then and only then when you take care of the team. And the team can deliver the type of customer service required to fulfill the mission and core values. So it's harmony. So basically, when we went through this one, working with staff and board input, we found that there were 2 strategies, but we'll start with your people first. And again, this is an ongoing work in progress, right, Nick? As you look at succession planning, workforce development, making sure you have the coaching and performance management systems in place. And board, do you realize one of the biggest competitive threats you have are the poaching of your talent pool?
Yep.
That next larger agency out there.
Yep.
No, that next larger agency, and this is sad. And why do they want to poach PUD employees? Because they use, your people do the work of 3. When they go to the next agency, they do the work of 1. So this is just something to stay vigilant with. You know, you want to stay competitive, total reward system. People don't always totally work for money. You know, there's a lot to be said about management, engagement, education, sense of place. But when I came here, I met a pretty passionate workforce. So, by the way, this is good stuff. This internship program has become very common and popular. So have you seen any success with that yet?
It's slowly working, so,
Doing this for 4.5 years.
Now it's gonna be doing this.
So the Aqua Foundation is working on an internship program that they can start kind of programming into places, so that's what we're trying.
We're actually working on a better one than that.
Yeah,
More local.
I mean, you're able to pull operators in now, right?
Well, they're paying us to hire
Yeah.
people and train them, and they pay their salary, workers' comp, they pay everything.
Any tax credits?
We pay taxes.
Yeah, really.
I think there's another credit you get, though. I forgot what it was, but anyhow, good stuff. Anything else here?
Question?
Yeah.
On the key indicator on GS5, it's number 4. What is a climate survey?
Not uncommon, maybe every year. I don't know if you've done this before, Nick, where you do kind of a temperature check with the staff to find out how things are going, what's working well, what's not working so well, what are the opportunities for improvement, but sometimes you do a checkup.
So we do a 6-month evaluation and a full year evaluation, and we have multiple meetings, so we're able to.
So you have multiple meetings.
Our new express evaluation software does people pulse surveys.
Okay, good.
We haven't implemented it yet, but it's all there ready to go.
Director Fisher?
I think where Director Stoll will go, and given the business that we're in, that's so environmentally climate conscious, that might want to choose a different word.
Yeah.
As it pertains to people.
Workforce climate?
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we get the climate surveys every meeting where we say.
No, that's, no, really.
We're always thinking about climate.
It used to be a noble term, but you're right.
How about a satisfaction survey?
Yeah.
Employee satisfaction survey?
Yep, there you go.
Workforce
Yeah.
survey?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it something like that.
Satisfaction. Yeah.
They just did a study. 80,000 employees, 400 companies. What was the #1 issue that contributed to their wanting to come to work every day and give your personal best? What was the #1 issue they brought up?
Management.
My manager cares about me as a person. And I have a sense of place. My opinions seem to count. I value my coworkers. being competitive in comp came out number 5. But it just speaks to what you can do non-monetarily in creating a successful, satisfied workforce. All right, finally, strategy number 2. Want to comment on that at all? I know I've seen this in action. Director Saunders.
Yeah, we do have Aqua GPIA, so they do a lot with staff. I don't know if they sent any to our board members, but we do have there's two programs. So one goes through all the websites and everything and rates us on the scale. Green means we're okay, orange means there's some issues, and red means, oh, there's a problem, and I'm pretty sure we've been in the green, or else we'd have known data came to us already. So we've been doing pretty good with our websites and email. They used to do a phishing thing, and then anytime something happens, then we'll educate the staff. And then number 2 is moving forward, what are we gonna, things that we need to look at, we're gonna be eventually incorporating AI, and we're probably gonna have to come up with AI policies, even simple policies, like how do you have AI that does the transcripts for Zoom? How do you let AI into your Zoom meetings? Is it only ours? Is it other people's reads? So there's gonna be a lot of things moving forward in the future.
I'm gonna tell you something strapped into this. I never thought this would happen, but now I'm looking at my wastewater clients. And I just did an AI summit where everybody came in and identified one AI tool that they were gonna use in their specific, this is like 17 different departments, right? They were able to Pat, I think you'll like this, Director Seaman. They were able to conduct and track consultant costs by 35%. Because a lot of the data they needed, well, so they used the power of ChatGPT and these different tools to do the kind of work that consultants would typically charge you T&M for, that can now be done with AI integration. So I'm putting it in there, guys, because the next couple of years, you don't want to over rely on it, but if it can improve efficiency and process, cut down costs, and thereby return that to stabilization of rates and infrastructure, look into it. It's phenomenal. So I have one company, and I know it's late. His management team is made up of agents right now. That
AI agents.
A marketing agent, a human resource agent, and a project manager agent. They give them a task, and phenomenal, but scary.
Co-pilot, write me a strategic plan.
No more Larry. Exactly. I'll be retired in Tahoe by then. Everything will be fine. Yeah, but just don't fly Canadian Airlines right now. So, anything you want to add to this particular dimension? I think you've hit all the right buttons here. We'll change some of that wording. And I think also too, this training is important, right, Nick? We've got things baked into staff for the different training services provided.
Yep.
Okay, Cherie, anything to add to number 4? 5.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Well, except, are we doing an internship program or?
We are working on one right now. We have not approved one. It'll have to come to the board before it gets approved. But I did reach out and got some information from one that's a local. They do El Dorado, Placer County, and they work with people in high schools. They work with people in just, employment agencies, but it's a program that they actually pay for them to be here. They pay for us. They want us to train them to be real people and to get real skills, but then they pay them.
And then they go to other districts or other type jobs.
Potentially, or they get hired on by us if we have an opening. There's a couple different programs. We'll lay out all the programs when we get to it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, the only thing I have left is this, and that is, Cherie, I know you brought this up while you're making your stir fry, but the survey, started that survey, Taylor and I, a week to 10 days ago, and I know you've been out there beating the bushes to get it in. Well, just when I thought we had 34 responses, it looks like 10 more came in today. Yeah. So my question is, out of fairness to our community, I can keep it running. We just keep it running. I mean, I'm just donating my time on that survey, okay? It's just important. I think I'd like to see us get to a number that's at least statistically significant. But let's keep it running for a week or two. And Jen will work with, Jen will work with Taylor, and let's just see what it looks like. My initial take, Cherie, if you want to comment on it, you saw it, it would suggest that I don't think the community is adverse to making investments in infrastructure and required capital improvements to, for reliability and sustainability, but you got to demonstrate the business case.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line I heard, but give me more information on water transfers. How do they work? How are we gonna protect our current supply, get through the season, deal with wildlife, and still have enough? So, I don't know, there's a huge educational opportunity, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I have
sorry?
a suggestion.
Okay,
I didn't get it until last week. And I think it needs to be sent out more through WaterSmart or however it's being sent. I mean,
Sure.
And they might not have everybody's email, or that's the problem we have, is that they don't do enough marketing with different programs and hearings and things like that. It needs more repeating.
All right, we will expand our reach. Okay.
Okay. I am
Well,
actually leading another meeting right now as we speak.
okay, and it's 6:30. I was trying to get this done by 6, but
Great.
How many did you?
Very important.
50?
today would be 44. That's,
So
I believe that one was 34.
So your statistically significant sample is 1%. Yeah, less than one.
I'd like to see that improve. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
So is there anything else from the board members? If not, this meeting is adjourned.
We have one.
Is there any action items for this?
No action.
No action, but if we brought back
Oh, yes, right.
future items.
Oh, yes, so, we will approve back, future suggested items for board members during the system.
So not necessarily tethered to this plan, but bring back an item to consider a process for our own code of conduct for our board.
Thank you. Still, any other board members? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. You can stop the recording.
Hate to eat my run, but.
Hey, Cherie, can you give me your address? I haven't had dinner yet.
I ate it all.
The broccoli's not soggy.
Yeah, I ate it all. It's already gone.